Hello, everyone. Good morning. Hello, Julie. Hi, Wendy. Hello, Caroline. Hello, Nancy. How are you all? Nice to see you. Nice to be back. Happy 2021 as well. Still can't believe it's 2021 and we're still here. I have tea. I have Christmas crack, which is Lebkuchen covered in chocolate. Wilson got them for me for Christmas, which was really sweet of him. He remembered how much I adored them from last year, which I thought was really nice of him. That's one of the things I love about him the most, is that he listens to me and remembers stuff. And I'm not sure what that says about my previous relationships, that is a big deal to me now, but I do love that he does that. Nicola's here. She says to Wendy, hi, I've been there. Beautiful place. It was many moons ago when I lived in Perth. Wendy said, hi, Sean. Hi, everyone. 10:15 p.m. here in Mount Gambier, South Australia in Blue Lake City. Julie says, did you have a nice Christmas? Very nice Christmas, thank you. How was everybody else's? Can't believe I haven't spoken to you since Christmas. It's the 10th of January. Chris says, hi, Sean and Peeps from Adelaide, South Australia. Good evening, Chris. Nicola says, hi, everyone else. Working on my first man's shirt for my hubby, McCall's 6044. I think I have that pattern, or I did. Jane is here. Hello, hi Jane. I really like your recent makes. That blue blouse with the brushed cotton is gorgeous, and I like your scrap busting idea. So I've already started sewing this morning because I'm only going to be able to stream till about 3:45 today. But I'm mounting the bodice pieces of my 8997 because the pattern tells you to interface it, but I hate that, so I'm just interlining it with cotton lawn, and then I'm sewing those together, and I'm sewing the lining together. And I've got the front of the dress done. It's not pressed yet though, so I'm just working on the back of the dress so I can sew the shoulder seams together, sew the neckline together, sew the armholes together, then sew the side seams together, and then the bodice will be done. So there's quite a lot of work to do, but we should be able to get that done in 3.5 hours, shouldn't we? Sally says, hi from Colchester in Essex. It's cold here. It's cold here today too, Sally. Woke up this morning and my house was, I think, 12, 13 degrees inside. That was chilly. I did not want to get out of the bed. And Shiana was clearly cold because she got into the bed with me, which was very cute, but did mean that I couldn't move. Jane says, oh, thank you. Haha, bin bag chic. I think it's a great idea. I really do. I think it's a very good idea, and I do love that. That sew over it blouse as well. I can't. Esther blouse, is it called? Can't remember, but it's very pretty. Julie says, I had a nice Christmas. I was at my parents' house for dinner, dancing around the tree, and just general haigi. I can never say that, can I? But the warm fuzzy feeling. I think that's a terrible explanation of that word, but I know what you mean. Chris says, I've been reorganizing my fabrics in the sewing room, trying a new idea, rolling fabric instead of folding, using calyx shelving. I have a feeling I'm going to have to go back to using all of our calyx cubes in the new sewing room for fabric storage, but that's fine. That's fine. And I may try and bolt them so that I can store them sideways, but that would mean getting a very specific size of cardboard to do that with. But yeah, I'm not sure what the storage situation for fabric's going to look like in the new place. Need to get the flooring and walls and ceiling and door and windows done. And once that's done, we can then put the furniture in to work out if we need to buy anything else, which I don't think we will. I think we'll have enough furniture. I think I'm going to need to buy a few little bits and pieces, and like the brackets that will allow you to attach a desk to the calyx units, because I'm thinking that's going to be the best place for I want the overlocker and cover stitch machine be able to be used permanently rather than have to get them out every time, because I get very lazy if I have to get the cover stitch machine out, and it tends to not happen. But yeah, we're gonna, yeah, we still haven't heard, we still don't know. Yeah, still no house news, which is frustrating, but never mind. So I washed my hair this morning, so it's gone a bit kind of fluffy. Well, not fluffy, but it's very soft and not wanting to behave itself. Where did I get to with the chat? Chris says, oh, I've read that one. Learning Stitches. Hey, peeps. Hello, how are you? Jane says, yes, it's a lovely pattern. I think I might have to get that. I think I might have to. Julie says, Denmark closed down everything possible for 2 weeks just before Christmas, and then 2 more just after New Year's because people could not figure out the staying at home. Yep, same here in the UK. Jenny says, hi from Perth, Western Australia. I'm in the middle of making a dog bed out of faux fur and minky. Why did I choose these fabrics? You are a brave lady. Chris says, is your buyer holding you up on the house, Sean? Yes. Yes, they are. And our vendor is very frustrated, which is why they put their house back up on the market. So yeah, we think, I mean, we've been saying this for months now, but we think it's nearly sorted. And yeah, I'm not going to go into it too much because it's other people's personal information, and obviously you don't know who they are, and I don't know who they are, but yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff holding up our buyer, and that's been the hold up basically, and it's very frustrating. And our estate agents keep saying, oh, but it's nearly done, and they've been saying that for months now, and I've been, since they put our house back up on the market that we're buying back at the beginning of November, I've been telling mum and dad that they should do the same to at least get people, you know, in a queue if they want you to try and find another buyer as a backup. And our estate agents kept talking them out of it. And yeah, well, I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully it all gets sorted out. But it is incredibly frustrating. So yeah. Julie says, just sent you a text with the sound clip of me saying that word. Thank you. I saw that you sent me a voicemail. Let's see. Hygge. Is that better? Did I do that better? Hygge. Thank you. Oh, and Big Bird's here, but her iPad won't let her chat to the peeps. So, hi, Big Bird, how are you? Not that you can reply. Jackie says, hello, working on some unfinished projects. That is my goal for the month before starting anything new. That's a good goal, Jackie. I have, well, including this dress, I have 3 unfinished projects that are cut out waiting to be done. When I was cutting out the this outer fabric, I originally bought 3 meters because I wanted to make a skirt out of it, and then I decided on this dress, so I bought an extra 2 meters. And what I've got left, I think I should be able to get a fairly wide skirt out of it. It won't be like a 3/4 circle skirt, which was what I was initially aiming for, but I think I should be able to get at least a half circle skirt out of it, which I'm really excited about because I think it's going to look really nice and be something a bit different. I mean, making a cream dress is probably like the worst idea, especially every time I eat soup I end up with a splash of tomato soup down my front, so I might have to make myself an apron to go with it as well. Don't know if any of you guys follow Sosine, her YouTube channel. She is an amazing costume maker, but she also makes her own clothes for day-to-day wear. She's also a doctor and a mother and just like superwoman basically. But she makes her own aprons to wear over her linen dresses. And she was like, I make them because I have a toddler and he is constantly sticky, and now I have something to always wipe my hands on, which isn't my dress. And you know, like stuff gets spilt on my apron and my apron can go in the wash and the dress is protected. And I was just like, I don't have a child, but that sounds like a fabulous idea. So, I mean, it wouldn't work with my aesthetic. She has christened her own aesthetic Ghibli-core, and I'm sure you guys know Ghibli is the writer of like Howl's Moving Castle and Spirited Away and those kind of Ponyo and those kind of animated things. So she's totally on the money with calling her style Ghibli-core. It's gorgeous. But yeah, I was very tempted to make an apron. I was just like, oh, that's a good idea. If for nothing else than to wear with this dress when I eat dinner, because I do get soup all over myself. I try not to, but I don't have a dining table up at mine, so I do eat on my lap from a tray. And yeah, sometimes I get messy. Now, yes, where did I get to with the chat? I think I'm a bit behind. I read that one. Let's see, where did I get to? Louise says, good afternoon, Shine and Peeps. Hello, Louise. Cassie says, for lightweight, thinner fabrics, use record sleeves to bolt your fabric in italics. That's a genius idea, Cassie. Very clever. Andy's here. Hello, lovely. How are you? Christine says, hello, everyone. Hi, Christine. Chris says, good idea to put yours back on the market. Put a rocket under them. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Mum was devastated when the people we're buying the house from put theirs back up on the market, and even though it's taking this long, we're still the shortest route for them to sell their house. But I mean, yeah, I agree, because it certainly put a massive load of stress on us. So it's kind of like feel like passing that stress along. But then also from the flip side of it, it's also one of those things where it's like, well, we know how this feels and it's not nice. So do we want to do that to another person? But then clearly this woman wants this house, and it's not her fault that there are this many problems occurring, but it's one of those things where it's just like, yeah, kind of wishing I could win the lottery and then I'd buy the house. I keep saying I would take great pleasure in telling them that it's off the market. Mum and Dad can have the new house that they want because it's flat. I'll keep this place. But I only won £13.70 on the lottery last week, which is not going to buy me this house. I mean, Mum and Dad would give me a family discount, but that's a fairly significant family discount and wouldn't allow them to buy the place that they want to buy. So, yeah. Julie says, beautiful. Thank you, Julie. I've completely forgotten already how to say it. So if I want to say it again, I'll have to listen to you again. It's already gone out of my head. Judy is here. Happy New Year, Peeps. Happy New Year, Judy. Ellen is here. Hello, lovely Peeps. Hello. Louise says, I wish you all the good luck on the house sale and agree your parents should keep the house on the market because until contracts are signed and sealed, unfortunately, your house isn't sold. I agree. And I'm kind of annoyed with our estate agents that they keep talking them out of it. I would, yeah. But anyway, again, if we carry on down that road, I'm going to get angry because I am angry, but I am frustrated with the whole process of it. And it seems like a very stupid system. And lots of you guys have been saying that it needs to be reformed, and I totally agree with you. Wilson's currently looking to buy his first home in London. So he's having fun and games house hunting at the moment. Caroline says, we had similar when we sold Mum and Dad's. It's funny how quickly things got sorted once we put it back on the market. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff that's happened that I'm really not going to tell you guys about because it's personal about this lady. But the stuff that's being said to us is incredibly frustrating and beside the point. And the estate agents and her solicitors keep harping on about these particular things, and it makes zero difference to what's going on, but they keep saying these things to us, and it's just like, those things don't matter. They're not going to help her buy this house any quicker. So you need to stop telling us these things because it's literally beside the point. So yeah. Julie says, I have sewn so much since last we spoke, and it's so weird because it's kind of big projects, but it's like I just whipped it up. That's very cool. I have completely lost my sojo. I'm trying to get it back with this dress. I have been excited about this dress, and it's an easy sew. It's just labor intensive, and that's why I'm doing the bodice first rather than the skirt. And I'm going to do the skirt lining first, because if I do the skirt outer first and I don't do the lining, there is a possibility that I'll just go and not make it, although I've cut it out, and it would be wasteful to not actually use it. And I will eventually get round to the, I suppose I ought to, but then yeah, because I'm going to do the lining of the skirt first, which is annoying because it's slippery fabric that doesn't want to behave itself. And yeah, but if I get the nasty bits out of there, not that it's nasty, but you know what I mean, if I get the annoying bits out of the way first, then I'll have the nice bits to look forward to. Lindsay says, Happy New Year, lovely Shine and Peeps. Thank you, Lindsay. Happy New Year to you too. Fort Gal says, 1, 2, 3, hello, watching you in Brazil for the results of your projects. Happy New Year to you and your family. Thank you very much and welcome. Learning Stitches says, I'm okay, thank you. Hoping you are too. Trying to get my sojo back. It seems to have disappeared. Oh, I feel you. Yes. Julie says she's been on a bit of a roll. Oh, send some of the sojo our way. Patricia says, hi, everyone from Sydney, Australia. Hi, Patricia. Andy says, I'm good, thank you. Lovely. I'm an estate agent. Don't know if I should admit that. And I wish all my clients were as patient as you. No, I have nothing against estate agents at all. I was always really confused by their bad rep. And I do think ours have been ever so slightly unprofessional in certain aspects of the way that they've dealt with things. I mean, there was one time Mum phoned the office and got one of the other ladies that wasn't dealing with ours and was asking questions. And this lady starts shouting across the office at the lady who is supposed to be dealing with our sale. And she's shouting the questions across the office whilst on the phone to Mum. And the other lady's answering, and it went on for about 2 or 3 minutes. And it was like, why don't you just put the lady on the lady that we're meant to speak to on the phone? That's just a really small example of stuff. So yeah. It's just I think what's frustrating me most is seeing how upset it's making Mum. So I would like them to stop kind of saying dates and promising things that they have no control over. So but again, I'm gonna start ranting if I continue down that road. But I didn't know that, Andy. So if I ever want to move to Cornwall, she'll come speak to you. Cornwall seems like a really good idea at the moment. I mean, I love the Isle of Wight. I do. It's lovely down here. But yeah, it'd be nice to be attached to the mainland. Lisa 101 Lisa says, morning everyone. Good morning, Lisa. Chris says, what was the sewing vlog you mentioned, Shan? Ooh, Sewstein. And that's her Instagram as well. Yes, just like she digitizes her own embroidery. She embroiders all of the things that she makes. She makes these amazing things for her husband, her son, herself. Just so cool. So yeah, go. And like I say, she's a full-on doctor as well. Just I don't know if she sleeps. So yeah. Sandy says, hello everyone from Canada. Hi Sandy. I think I've got that flag right. It is tiny. Sal's here. G'day, Sean and Peeps. Hi Sal, how are you? Jane says, joining you for the first time today to keep me company whilst I sew. Welcome, Jane. And what are you sewing? Julie says, push, here you go for the sojo. Thank you, Julie. Thank you. Much appreciated. So So for some nice evening viewing, I've been binge watching Criminal Minds. I got halfway through How to Get Away with Murder and I needed a break from it, so I've started on a few different things. Sabrina, there's new season of that is out, but I want to pay attention to that. So I want, at the moment, I need things that I don't need to pay attention to. So yes, I've been watching Criminal Minds, which is not conducive to a peaceful night's sleep. Okay. Where did I get to? Caroline says, I've been latch hooking sewing is latch hooking sewing is tricky with a puppy. How is the puppy? How is he? Alex is here. Hello, everyone. Hi, Alex. And he says, absolutely, lol, awesome. Makey, hi, everyone. Happy New Year. Hello, how are you? Rachel's here. Hi, everyone. Hope everyone's okay. I'm good, Rachel. Thank you for showing us around your sewing room. It's looking awesome. Nia says, I'm very well. Made the mistake of sewing the Style Arc Ellen shorts. Style Arc instructions are rubbish. I have never made anything by Style Arc. I do have a few of their patterns, including the Ziggy jacket, which you guys may or may not have heard me talk about like incessantly. Yeah, I have heard that the instructions are basic. So yeah, I'm kind of not looking forward to starting the Ziggy jacket. I'm sure it'll be fine, and there is a sew along, so yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Okay. Kim says, hi everyone from Dover, doing a bit of knitting today while watching. What are you knitting? Mum's nearly finished my Christmas present, which is very exciting. It's the Devote cardigan from Kim Hargreaves, but I can't remember which book it's in. So that's not very helpful, is it? Sorry. Andy says, and we're very small, independent, and all work as a team. No shouting across the office. Lol. Well, so is this one. They're a small, independent as well. That's what. Yeah, that's what surprised me. But yeah. Kathy says, good morning, Sean and Peeps. Good morning, Kathy. Caroline says, love Sosteen. Her embroidery is incredible. It is indeed. And she does sell her embroidery designs on her Etsy shop as well, if you are feeling brave. She's an ambassador for Baby Lock as well. So she has some of their multi-needle machines, which look amazing. Debbie says, hi all, hope you are well. Hi, Debbie, how are you? Sean says, hi, Sean and everyone. Hello, Sean. Definitely going to get that name correct. Charlie says, our estate agent was rubbish, kept making basic mistakes like my surname, and in the last week we had to pay £500 plus £100 VAT for surveyor's report, which should have been done weeks before. Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah. Sal says, I'm good, although feeling old because I now have 3 sons that are now teenagers. Lol. Oh, Sal, wait till all your kids are in their 40s like Mum had this year. Caroline says, I've been binging on classic Doctor Who, just about to start The Horror of Fang Rock. Puppy is fantastic, up to 13.5 kilos. Wow, 12 weeks old. How cute. Caroline says, Hub's got me the Kelly Anorak pattern and some gorgeous olive drill for Christmas. Oh, that's lovely. Lisa says, Rachel, I'm so very jealous of your cutting tables and sewing room. Can I be really cheeky and ask Rachel how you lost weight? You look amazing. Sean says, just tuned in and you were talking about Cornwall. It certainly is pretty good down here. I was worried all my boys would not come back after moving away, but gradually they are moving back. Yay. Oh, lovely. Jane says, I haven't been sewing for long. Lockdown take. Plus, we have recently moved, so it's taken a while to get sewing room sorted, up and running from yesterday. So I'm just practicing. As long as you are enjoying it, Jane. Susan says, good morning from Georgia. It's very cold here. I know you said it before, but what's the number of your Benina? I have an 830. Mine's 8 years old now. Mum has the Benina 880 plus, and hers is 2 years old. Sean says, do you think you could do a video on blogs you enjoy? I'm kind of reluctant to do one of those because there are so many that it would either be the longest video in the world or I'd miss people out, and I would hate to do that. I'm kind of really enjoying all the costuming community at the moment, and it's really making me want to make my own 1860s ball gown. And I even put all the truly Victorian patterns in my basket the other day to see how much they would be. And they were around $60 for PDFs, which is not bad, but still having them all printed because they're all giant is going to end up being probably around about £100. And then all the fabrics and things like that. And it is something that I really want to do, especially having watched all the costuming vlogs at the moment. So there's Angela Clayton, there's Costuming Drama, there is Liam, there is Bernadette Banner, Bella May Designs, Mariah Patty, So Steen, Cat's Costumery. See, this is the thing. I know there's more that I watch, and I'm forgetting them. And then for not regular or normal, but sewing vlogs, there are so many that I love and that I watch. It's like there was a thing going on around on Instagram, which was your top 10 sewing pages that you love. And I got tagged a few times, and it was, you're supposed to pass it on. And whilst I really like those things because you sometimes discover new people, I found that a lot of the tags were being done for the same people. And I'm not throwing any shade or anything like that. I just didn't want to take part because I didn't want to try and put like, oh, these are my top 10 in that they're my, so yeah. I'm really happy to talk to you guys about the vlogs that I follow that aren't sewing related, because there's not very many of those, and I really enjoy watching those people. But for sewing, I find it, I don't want to miss anyone out, and I also don't want to make a video that's like 10 hours long. So yeah. Kim says, I'm knitting myself a jacket in the purple Aran weight yarn. The pattern is King Cole 1, number 2896. Very nice. Rachel says, thank you, just the usual diet and exercise. Caroline says, have you seen Lady Rebecca's? That doesn't ring bells, actually. Possibly. There's quite a few out there that because I'm watching certain things, they're recommending those kind of ones to me. That does ring bells, Lady Rebecca's. There's also Nina Ella. Nina, I can't remember, but she makes amazing things. Her YouTube videos are really short, and they're usually just kind of like twirls in the costume, but they're amazing, and her Instagram is really informative. Obviously, Lady Lilith Designs. Bethany is a peep. I don't know if she's here today, but I love watching her videos. So yeah, there are so many, and this is the trouble. I like, if I start naming them, I forget people, and it's not because they're not a favorite, and it's just because my brain is like a sieve, and certain things do fall through the cracks. So I kind of don't like those kind of videos, just because I don't want to offend anyone. And that may be me being way too sensitive. So Charlie says, 2 days ago I was up all night feeling nauseous, feeling great now, but yesterday I lost my sense of taste and smell. These can be symptoms of a cold. I'm waiting to see if I get better or worse. Oh, I hope it is just a cold for you. Charlie, please, fingers crossed. I mean, whoever wishes for a cold, but in this day and age, like, yeah, let's hope that's just a cold. Leslie says, hi, Sean, how are you? Very well, thank you, Leslie. How are you? Julie says, I've kind of stopped watching a lot of YouTube at the moment. Instead, I'm listening to people play role-playing games. Cool. Yeah, I think it's one of those things, like, you can go through phases of watching people as well, and just because you've stopped watching them for a while doesn't mean to say that you don't like them. It's just, you know, again, Bailey J, the artist, she's recently merged her vlogging channel into her main art channel, and I don't keep up with her as religiously as I used to. She used to daily vlog as well, but I do enjoy dropping back in every now and again and seeing what she's up to. Leslie says, I missed the start. What are you saying today? I am attempting to sew the Vogue 8997, which I don't have the pattern out for. Probably should get it. I made it last year and I did a sew along for it. And I am making it out of cream textured cotton because, you know, the cream strapless dress or a sleeveless dress at this time of year is perfect. But this is actually kind of intended to be more of a pinafore than a dress that you wear by yourself. You totally can wear this dress by yourself, but by itself. But I'm making this one for this time of the year to wear over my skinny roll necks and hopefully some piratey bishop sleeved shirts that I'm planning on making. I'm really tempted to have a play around with the Vogue 9345 shirt dress pattern and see if I can extend the seam details from the waistline to make that into a fitted shirt, because I love the collar on that. I love how the bodice fits me and I love the sleeves. And the reason I'm thinking about that one is because the bodice fits me really closely, so it would be a good thing to be able to wear under this sort of dress. And I also think it would be a good thing to then be able to tuck into trousers and skirts because they wouldn't have too much bulk. I think that's always been my problem with shirts, is that I'm worried that they won't be fitted enough to my torso. Let's tilt you down so you can see what I'm doing. Yeah, so that they won't be fitted to my torso so that they don't give me enough shaping. So I'm very tempted to have a play around with the Vogue 9345. The one that I made with the giant sleeves, the midi length one, I've been wearing it so much. I really want to make another one of those. And I made it with that mystery fabric that the very lovely Rachel got for me from Walton's. But I had zero clue where it come from. So, not sure which one of the other ones that I want to make it out of. Thinking maybe one of the plain fabrics. That could look quite cool. I do love those sleeves though. They are very cool sleeves. So we had the first part of our murder mystery weekend last night or yesterday afternoon, which was a lot of fun. I have no idea who's done the murder. It's been a murder. It's on the Pullman Express. So yes, we have a Charleston class later if we want it. And cocktail lessons. There's a talk with a couple of authors, murder mystery authors. And then from 7 till 9, we have the last 2 hours of the murder mystery where we get to interview the participant, the actors, and find out who done it. I have a feeling there's going to be another murder overnight. I think there is. I think someone else is going to die. very specific about telling us where two people were sleeping and how they could only sleep on one side, and they were a married couple, so that they had to trade off. And yeah, they were very specific about that. So I have a feeling that one of them is going to get murdered overnight. But yeah, I have zero idea who's actually done it. But it's very cool. They've sent us like a whole pack of photographs, and there was clues and puzzle books and stuff that we had to do to unlock a safe, to find the will. And yeah, the actors were really cool as well. So yeah, hopefully we'll solve the murder this evening. I have no idea. No idea at all who's done it. Can't even work out the motive at the moment. We know the murder weapon. We know where they were murdered. But no idea as to why. Right, so I have mounted all of the fabric, so now I can start sewing things together. Where did I get to with the chat? Charlie says, I adore pirate sleeves. Me too. Me too. And yeah, I think, as I was saying earlier, Sosteen has christened her style Ghibli core. I've kind of christened mine sort of pirate core, 70s pirate core. I think it will become more apparent once I've made more of the things from this collection. The trousers I'm going to make are going to lean very 70s. And I think after I've made these trousers, I want to make a few shirts. And as I say, experiment with the 9345 and then a couple of the patterns that I've bought and see what I can come up with. Yeah, very 70s, I think. So Lily Bells is here. Hi, everyone. Hi, So Lily Bells. Marianne. Hello from Manitoba in Canada. Hello. Sal says, apparently there are people playing Cluedo in person in Sydney. Oh, cool. Kathy says, it sounds fun. Yvonne says, morning, everyone. Happy New Year all. Just back from 2 dog walks, 12,000 steps. We'll now sit and watch the sewing. That's very impressive, Yvonne. Leslie says, sounds like fun, sort of fun thing I like. Leslie, it's a company called Cozy Killer. And this is their second weekend away that they've done. It's very cool. I think you guys know I bought Dad the Detective Society for Christmas and his birthday. And it's kind of very similar to that. You get a box of clues and you have to, there's a specific thing that you have to work out. I mean, the clue book that they'd given us, so we had to work out a code, and the code told us that we needed to put the clue book in the freezer, and there was ink that came back when it had been cold, so I think it was like a friction pen or something, but it was very cool. It was just like, you know, we actually kind of got to the point where we were like, we have to put the book in the freezer. So yeah, there's code breaking and ciphers and actual physical evidence, and yeah, it's very, very cool. Very cool. And as I say, they're doing, this is the second weekend they're doing, and I think it's been a success, so I think they'll do another one. But they also do monthly boxes of ones that you solve on your own time. But yeah, it's been really good. So, just pinning in my princess seams. Julie says, I was absolutely turn of the 1900 bound Christmas Eve. Yes, your outfit was awesome. Very cool, Julie. Julie says, right now I am cutting myself out a photo I took of it to use in a vlog. Oh, cool. It was a good outfit. Joanne says, good afternoon and Happy New Year. Good afternoon, Joanne. How are you? Happy New Year to you too. Oh, I have been looking forward to today because it was some guaranteed time to sit down and sew with you guys. And I've just really struggled to motivate myself this week. I waffle about it in the vlog that you'll be seeing tomorrow. But yeah, I was supposed to be full-time back at work from Monday this week, and that has just not happened. But I am hoping this is going to kick me into gear and get my sojo back and make me want to try and tackle these trousers. So we shall see how that all goes. I think I might start on the Decades of Style because I was going to start with the Lander pants, but I think I might start with the Decades of Style because actually they're the simplest make of the lot. So that might be a good idea, kind of get my eye in, kind of as it were. Now I'll pin one of these and then I need to make sure that I am pinning the other one in the opposite direction so that I don't end up with two the same, because both sides of this fabric are identical. And we don't want two identical pieces, we want mirror images. This stuff is so slippery. It's the viscose acetate Lady McElroy lining, and I love it when it's finished, but working with it is an absolute bugger. I keep going to eat my chocolate biscuits and I'm like, I am working with white, well, cream fabric. Is eating a chocolate biscuit really the best of ideas? I had some chorizo bites beforehand and it was like, again, is this the best of things to be eating in the sewing room next to your cream project? No, it is not. But I did it anyway. And I managed not to get any on here. So, you know, that's something, I suppose. Let's see. Julie says, thanks to all the peeps. Joanne says, good, just had a massive lunch, so food coma. How are you? Ooh, food. We are having a late lunch, early dinner because of this thing that we're doing today. So I'm kind of hungry. Need to not think about food. Simone says, my sojo has also been lacking in the last few months. My plan to fix this is professionally organizer is coming tomorrow to sort out my craft sewing room. That's amazing. How cool. I'm so excited about setting up the new sewing room. I can't wait. And yeah, Karen's just done hers, and if you watch her on, if you've seen her on Instagram, she put up her stories, and her fabric stash now looks beautiful. And obviously Rachel's just done hers as well, which is looking amazing. And I want to, right, let's make sure I'm doing this the right way. That is the wrong way, is it? Hang on, no. Is that the right way? Yes. That is the right way. Should have marked the right and wrong sides of this. Do as I say, not as I do. Karen says, good morning, peeps, and Sean, happy Sunday. Hello, Karen. Simone says, oh, and hello, Sean and peeps. Hi, Simone. Very cool about the professional organizer. I do like the idea of that. When we move, I want to take everything out of every single drawer and box and work out if it's currently in its best location or if it should be moved somewhere else. Because we've kind of, like, obviously I was here before Mum and Dad got back from Saudi, and so we've kind of just fitted in Mum around me, and I'd obviously like to give her a little bit more storage space and solutions. And I also think that we're not using some of the cupboards and drawers and stuff in the best way. So yeah. Oh, itchy eyeball. Nimue says, hello everyone and happy new sewing year. Hello Nimue, happy new year to you too, my lovely. Rachel says, I'm glad I did it when I did, as IKEA is shut for weeks now. Yeah, that's another thing about us moving immediately. When we move in, we need a whole bunch of IKEA furniture, and if it's shut, we will be living in chaos for even longer. So kind of hoping that we do get to move at the end of February, which is sort of the plan if everything works out that way. That would be nice. Right, I'm just going to double check that I have pinned this correctly, because I really don't want to have to unpick this stuff, and I really don't want to have to cut this out again. Yes, I have two that are mirror images of each other, not the same. That's good. Right, move the needle back and start sewing. Okay. Simone says, I'm terrible at organising that space because I get distracted and off task and can easily maintain a system if there is one. Ah, cool. Yeah, I can see that it would be very helpful to have someone with a fresh eye kind of come in and help you do that. Definitely. I'm looking forward to having all my fabric back in the same place, because at the moment I have all my knit fabric down here and all my woven fabric up at mine, which has given me a false sense of how much fabric I have. I have way more than I think I do. I always enjoy organising and sorting things out as well, so I'm really looking forward to doing that. I want to redo my wardrobe. I want to clean that out. There's stuff in there that I've kept that I'm never going to fit into again unless I really do change my lifestyle. And there's stuff in there that I can take apart and make into skirts and things. Like a lot of the dresses that I've made, which don't fit me anymore, I could take, they've all got gathered skirts on them because they either are directional prints or they were shorter lengths of quilting cottons that I had. And I love, love, love the fabric. And I can't get a lot of it anymore. So I'm thinking that I might sort of start doing a little series of refashioning stuff so that I can wear it. Otherwise, it's just taking up space and making me sad when I get dressed. There's quite a few times that I'll go and try something on and I can't zip it up anymore. And yeah, as much as I keep saying I'm trying to start exercising, I just really keep talking myself out of it, which is ridiculous, because the more I do it, the better I'll feel and the easier it'll get. So I just need to start. And it's Monday tomorrow, so, you know, fresh start Monday. Supposed to be doing it last Monday, but yeah, life kind of just didn't really happen this week. So I'm thinking we'll try it tomorrow, but I'm really looking forward to sorting out my wardrobe. I really enjoy sorting out my wardrobe. And yeah, it'll just be nice to organize all the things. I do love organizing. I want to organize all my paper crafting stuff as well, because that's going to have to go in the sewing room, because there is not going to be room for it in my room in the house, because my room in the house is tiny. Well, it's the biggest bedroom, but it's not big. Mum and Dad are giving me the biggest bedroom because I'll spend way more time in my bedroom than they will, because obviously they will spend a lot of time in the living room. And it's not that I'm not invited into the living room, but it will just be nice to have a space that's mine. It's going to be weird living under the same roof as them again. Not in a bad way, just in a weird way. But I am saving up for a deposit for a teeny tiny place of my own. And whilst they allow me to live here for cheap rent, which they do, it makes way more sense than trying to rent somewhere, which would massively curtail my ability to see a Wilson. It would massively curtail my fabric buying ability, which does need to be curbed. So maybe it's not the worst of ideas. But yeah, it just seems very silly to try and save for a house and pay rent, market rent at the same time. So I'm taking advantage of the very kind offer that Mum and Dad have given me. So yeah, should have had my deposit for my house this year, but obviously stuff happened. Right, I'm just going to go and grab a tissue and I shall be back. Don't move the mannequin. Behave yourselves. Hello, I am back. Did you behave yourselves? Mannequin's still in one place. Right, where did I get to with the chat? Julie says, ooh, what's a system? Lols. Nimue says, I had a brainwave about reorganizing storage in our basement, which includes most of my fabric stash. Would require an IKEA order. They luckily still deliver here. Oh, that's good. Charlie says, are any non-food, non-pharmacies open at all in the UK? No, I don't think so, although I haven't been out of the house. I haven't left the house since I think I went to the supermarket on the 27th of December, but that was the last time I've left the house. So I don't know, but I don't think so. Leslie says, I just managed to get myself the Butterick 5951. Can't wait to get started, waiting for my new table. It's a lovely pattern. Make sure you have a long enough zip if you're doing the one with the higher neck at the back, because I did not, and I have to unpick mine. And I've ripped a hole in it trying to get it on and off, and I'm really not looking forward to unpicking it to put a new zip in it. It's totally repairable, and I will repair it because it's a gorgeous dress. But yeah, make sure you have a long enough zip. Nimue says, today is the first project. Today's first project of today is unpicking a broken zipper in a ready-to-wear winter jacket to replace it. Fun times. But it's getting really cold here. Oh yeah, it's getting cold here too as well. But yeah, good luck with that. That sort of stuff I would put on the side and ignore for quite a while, as you know. Julie says, I cannot maintain order if my life depended on it. Andy says to Rachel, it looks fab. Simone says to Julie, lols. Leslie says, I've been making do and sewing on a table that was too low. Major backache, lol. Oh, yeah, don't do that. And Charlie says, ouch to Leslie. Alison says, Happy New Year and greetings, Sean and Peeps from Bendigo in Australia. Hi, Alison. How are you? Mum has emailed you a couple of times and hasn't heard back from you. We were hoping that your parcel had arrived. But we're guessing not as yet, which is, we sent it ages ago. So yeah, all the other ones that went to America have finally arrived. So let us know, please. Rachel says to Andy, thanks, but I've just been opening every drawer trying to find my elastics. Yeah, that's when you trouble when you reorganize and you're so used to everything being in a certain place and you've reorganized and you've no idea where anything is. Julie says to Leslie, especially if it's a big project. Yeah, really hurts your back. Sal says mannequin time, Peeps. Julie says, if we all put our collective brain power to move the thing, we possibly can, sending brainwaves. You guys make me giggle. You do make me giggle. Right. I'm determined to get at least the bodice of this dress done today. If I get everything sewn together at the shoulders, I'm going to reward myself with one of my Liebkuchen. Wacky Wear says, hi from Rachel, YouTube Wacky Wear. My partner John and I met you coming out of the stitching show many years ago at the NEC. I admired your dress, which you made, and you admired my shirt, which I'd made. Just to say, I've been subscribed to you since then. Oh, hello. And it's been so long since we went to any of the shows. I miss those. Oh, that's very cool. Very cool. Is it the first hangout that you've made it to? Because I haven't seen that name before. Nimue says, already given up on the zipper. There's a hidden stitching behind the top stitching I thought was holding the zip. We'll wait for the professionals to be open again. Yeah, I'm with you there, Nimue. That would drive me nuts too. Okay. So I've put together my fabrics for my Make 9 2021, and I've put them together in a collection, which I'm really excited about. And the trouble is, I'm so excited about it, I'm slightly worried that I'm going to want to start sewing it immediately, and I really want to finish this capsule collection that I'm working on now because I love it. I love all the fabrics that are in it. So I'm kind of thinking to myself, should I maybe pick fabrics from the capsule collection and put those in my Make 9? Because I actually picked out 18 fabrics. I put 2 collections together. And then I was going to film those. And then I was like, you know what? No, because you've never finished a Make 9. Let's not make it a Make 18 and make it even worse if you don't finish it. But I'm thinking maybe it might be a good idea to pick 9 fabrics from this current collection that I'm working from, because there are a few that you guys haven't seen that I've kind of added in since I did the initial video back in September. So I'm kind of thinking that maybe that might be a better idea, and then once I finish those 9, do my pink and turquoise collection, which is what I was going to film for my Make 9. And it includes some fabric that Wilson got for me for Christmas. So I was thinking maybe do it that way. Although I don't want it to be like a redundant video, because like I say, most of you guys have seen most of the fabrics I want to work with already. But I'm thinking it might not be such a stupid idea, because it might give me like a kick up the backside to actually get on and do it. I don't know, because my January plans was like a rehash of my giant fabric haul ones. So my pirate collection video that I'd done. So I don't want to like bore you guys with the same things over and over again. But it might be good to give myself a fighting chance of getting a Make 9 done, and then continue to work in collections for the rest of the year. That's what I was intending to do anyway. So I don't know, what do you guys think? What do you think? Okay. Let's get this bodice sewn together at the shoulders so that I can then go and press all of the seams that I've sewn, because I haven't pressed a single seam as yet because I haven't needed to. I always sew, as you guys know, I always continue sewing up until I have to cross a seam, and then I will go and press. So yes, Leslie says, I'm going to attempt my first coat, so the new table will be good. Ooh, nice. Which one are you going for? Nimue says, I have a dress all cut out and will much rather sew that. I think it's a good plan, Nimue. Christine says, bonjour, peeps. How are you guys today? Bonjour, Christine. I'm very good, thank you. How are you? Phoebe says, Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year, Phoebe. Sean says, just about to start the Megan Nielsen Rowan fitted tee or bodysuit and making long sleeves with a turtleneck. Very nice. I need to make myself some of those. Wacky Wear says, I've been sewing for many years, but only recently joined YouTube. Such hard work, though, putting all the clips together. But if it helps folks, then it's all worthwhile. Definitely. There's always a little bit of an eye-opener when you start the YouTube channel and you're like, oh, editing. Oh. So yeah, it's always a little shock to the system how much actual work is involved behind the scenes of all this. But I shall check out your channel. Thank you for letting me know. And yeah, I'm up to date with the chat, which is good. This is the moment of truth where I discover if I've sewn these the right way together, and I have, which is great. Don't have to unpick anything. The last thing I need at the moment would be a disaster, because this is meant to be a nice, easy sew to get my sojo back. I was very, very tempted to cut out an Eve dress, but the fabrics I'm working with at the moment, the only one that I have that I definitely want to make an Eve dress from, I need to level out the skirt hem, and I really didn't want to have to trace a pattern. So this one it is. And I am looking forward to having this one finished. Although the only thing I have to wear under it at the moment is my ready-to-wear roll necks that I got from Next, which are going to look lovely, but I don't have any shirts to wear underneath it, unless my Vogue 9455 dress actually fits underneath it. I know Rachel Makesy, get her name right, not Maxie, Makesy, wears dresses under skirts to kind of utilize the top part of the dress and then the skirts that she loves. And I really like how that looks. I'm not sure how I'd feel about wearing that though. So I will try on this dress over my 9345 and see what it feels like. If it does not feel good, I shan't wear it like that. But I'm going to be interested to see. Okay, so lining is all together and just needs to be pressed. Have I clipped the... Yes, I've clipped the curves. Just need to clip the curves on the back, so I shall do that now. And then I can sew up the shoulder seams on the outer. So let's just give these back princess seams a little clip. To make them easier to press so they all lie nice and flatly. These Kai embroidery scissors are amazing. They are sharp to the tip, which is awesome. I think I said I was going to reward myself with a chocolate biscuit once I'd gotten to this stage. If I didn't, that's what I meant. Where did we get to with the chat? Christine says, doing pretty good despite lockdown and curfew. Yeah. Yep. Big Bird is a frontline worker. She works in one of the hospitals as a radiographer, and she had her first vaccine injection the other day, which is very cool. So now Bill Gates can track her, obviously, with her insert microchip. And I am joking. That was a joke. And as you guys know, I have a strange sense of humor, and I do try and make funny jokes to or cope with difficult situations. So yeah. Leslie says, I like the idea of collections. Kathy says, hi Sian, sorry I just joined. Did you already move? No, we're still here, Kathy. We're still here. Still waiting for news. Leslie says, not done any, might have to start. I'm waiting for my princess coat pattern to arrive. Very cool. I really enjoy working in collections. As I say, I did this once before back in July in 2017, around the Cobra Corsage 8577, and very heavily inspired by Emily Hallman, who, if you don't follow on Instagram, you definitely should. And really like working in collections. It's kind of quite fun, and I'm really looking forward to the styling videos. If you watched my autumn lookbook or my kind of year in review, it was quite fun seeing a whole bunch of stuff that clearly went together at the end. There were a few randoms thrown in because there were some bits and pieces that I wanted to finish up that had been cut out for ages. But yeah, it was quite fun sort of seeing how cohesive the sort of end of the year looked. But the princess coat is awesome, and the sew along that Gertie's done for that is really, really good. And the only extra thing that I added was the interfacing pieces for the collar that the tailoring book recommended, because they hadn't been included, but every other little bit of interfacing that the tailoring book recommended, Gertie had thought about and added already for you as a pattern piece. So yeah, right, okay, so I need to clip my curves, then it needs pressing, but before I press it, I am going to eat some Lebkuchen, and I'm pretty sure I say that incorrectly. When I finally get to meet Nimue, she can teach me how to say Lebkuchen correctly, and also Schnittchen patterns. She can teach me how to say that correctly too. It was quite fun doing that giant mammoth video. If any of you guys watched all of it, well done. The Schnittchen patterns, like some of the, and again, it's like when Rachel did her video on her makes and things that she'd made over the year, and not calling them fails. I will admit my fails thing was clickbait, really, because people like seeing those kind of things. But they were definitely all learning curves, and some of those jumpers that I'd made, I can definitely see how if I tweak it, it's going to be something that I will wear. And I need some slouchy clothes because I'm continuing to eat stuff like this. We've got so much food for Christmas, so we're still working our way through it. Well, we had Duvalet's not here, I don't think, but she sent us some little sweet biscuits, and we had those last night, and everyone very much liked those, so they were good. Alison says, Australia Post is especially slow at the moment, even domestic mail. I reckon that our postal service is still getting over Christmas. How's Chiana today? And what am I sewing? Yes, I can imagine that everything is incredibly slow, Alison. But yeah, mum was just a bit worried that she hadn't heard back from you from the emails. I don't know if they'd gone to the wrong inbox or something. Yeah, Chi's good. She was very cold this morning, so I got cuddles, which was lovely. It's always lovely when I get cuddles. She's been sitting on my lap a lot as well, which is lovely. So I'm liking that. Ruth Ann says, good morning, peeps. Good morning, Ruth Ann. Phoebe says, thanks for recommending the Gertie sewing patterns. I just bought the night and day dress pattern. It's lovely. I really like that one. I used it for my dressmaker's ball dress. Still need to go back in and do a few tweaks to that, because I did a few tweaks to it and didn't need to do those, and didn't really have time to make a muslin, so hadn't. But yeah, I really like that dress, and I need to make myself one because it's got a gorgeous set of sleeves on it. Yes. Leslie says, afternoon, Sean. Happy New Year. What are you making today? I am sewing the Vogue 8997. Sorry, Alison, I forgot to answer that question as well. Yes, the Vogue 8997. Hopefully getting my Sojo back. Christine says, Nia will probably get abducted by aliens now. Probably. I mean, she has now been chipped, so Julie says, I felt like I've made a lot of things, but I just did a runabout to find all the things, and it seems that I've only made 4 things. But if they're big projects, they always feel like there's more of them. Wacky Rare, sorry, it was Rachel, wasn't it? Let me just double check that. Yes, Richard, sorry. Did I say Rachel earlier? Richard, sorry, Richard. Glad I checked. Richard says, I recently did a video called Making the 1950s D&G Print Dress. I'd really love you to watch it if you get the time, as I'd really appreciate your constructive criticism. I will have a look. I am looking forward to checking out your channel. Charlie says, chocolate biscuit. Chocolate ginger biscuit. that's kind of cakey. So. And Sal says, it's funny that you said about the Gates thing, because my Dracula novel, this COVID thing, will be humanity getting turned into vampires, which is why you can't see loved ones in hospital. Ah, very cool. Charlie says, my mum, 89, had her first vaccine yesterday, so did the Queen and Prince Philip. Oh, they're all going to be tracked by Bill Gates now. I mean, in all honesty, Bill Gates really doesn't care. We all have chips on us already. Again, my really poor attempt at humor. It's not meant to be taken seriously or literally, and I'm not making light of the situation. I know how serious it is, but humor helps me mentally. Alison says, didn't receive mum's emails, we'll double check. Awesome, Alison, because she was worried she'd have upset you. So yes, let us know, and if you haven't, then I will get her to send them again. Carol says, good morning from New York City. Good morning, Carol. Lottie says, hello, happy new year, everyone. Hello, Lottie, how are you doing up north? How are you settling in? So Lily Bell says, I'm making the waffle pattern a rare with waterproof fabric. Anyone have tips for waterproof fabric? Never sewn with it myself, but I do know that you need to be very careful when you are sewing because you don't get a second chance. If you've made a hole in the fabric, then you've made a hole in the fabric. So be careful, triple check. That's not very helpful, sorry. Phoebe says, yeah, I really haven't been making that much this year. Last year, I really haven't had that much time with whatever is happening with A-levels and a uni application. I can imagine. Alison says, no emails from mum. No way would your mum ever upset me. I love her too much. Oh, thank you, Alison. Did you get your present from her? Because she sent you an email with a present in, and there was a little thing in the post as well. So we'll need to check that if you haven't got it. Nimue says, on top of starting my sewing plans for 2021, I have some baby projects to dig into. A friend's little girl arrived on Friday. Oh, so cute. So cute. Wilson is going to give the play quilt to his brother's family next Sunday. So, yeah, we'll find out if they like it. I hope they will. Alison says no present news yet. That's really weird, Alison, because Mum sent it at the beginning of December. So I will get her to double check for you. She did think it was weird she hadn't heard from you. So we will double check that. Richard says, thank you so much, as I've enjoyed so many of your videos today. Very inspirational. Thank you very much. Phoebe says, for waterproof fabric, I would just say go slowly, triple check before sewing. Agreed. Jen says, hi, it's just after midnight in Australia and my husband is snoring. Poke him. I always used to poke my ex, kick him, not hard. I always used to kick my ex-husband when he snored and roll over them because he always, oh God, it was like a train. It was awful. Leslie says, hubby bought me the tailoring book for Christmas. Many years ago, my mum went to tailoring classes. She used to make coats for herself and me when I was little too. Haven't got the fabric yet. Oh, it's exciting. Really like that book. You have to let me know what you think. Alex says to So Lily Bell, says, press with a pressing cloth and use a clapper, or if you haven't got one, a wooden cutting board, kitchen one, or a good piece of wood. Yes, with no snags in it. Nice and smooth. Alison says, Australia Post is up to their old tricks again. I have a problem with snoring cat, Binks. Aww. Chiana snores every now and again. It's the cutest thing ever. Although, as I mentioned, I've been watching Criminal Minds. And I watched a really creepy episode last night, with the little boy's voice being recorded and sent to people before they got murdered. That kind of thing creeps me out anyway. But that was the last one I watched before I went to bed. And then I turned all the lights off. I'd been lying there for about 10 minutes. And then Chiana is clearly having a dream. And she starts like this. And she starts like meowing and growling in her sleep. But it was the creepiest thing because it was pitch black. And then this noise comes, and it was just like, oh my God. So I got up and stroked her, because I wake her up when she's having dreams like that, because she growls and twitches and really doesn't like it. So yeah, so I woke her up and she was like, oh, then kind of went back to sleep again. But the kind of howling, growling noises were just like, oh, creepy, really, really creepy. Julie says she also has a big piece of wood next to her ironing board. Alex says to So Lily Bells, if it's heavy, use jean needles or the 90-14 or heavier. There's a tape you can buy to seal the seams, but it's not necessary unless you really want the seams to be 100% waterproof. Richard says, I use waterproof fabric a lot in most of my bags. You really need to sew correctly, because when you unpick it, it leaves very visible holes. Plus, you can actually iron it on one side with steam. Alex says, if you're worried that you'll have to unpick, draw sewing lines on your fabric. It really should not be unpicked. Yeah, drawing your stitching line in is a really good idea, actually. It's really good for it, even if you don't do it for like the straight lines. If you do it for any points where you have to pivot and things, that's a really good tip. Thank you, Alex. Nimoy says, I've got to get back into rewatching Criminal Minds, but it's a note-taking watch for me, as it's one of my fan fiction fandoms. I'm halfway through season 9. Right, gonna do some ironing. Fun times. Okay, so just making sure I've got no chocolate on my fingers by wiping it on my dress. Yes. Right, so press all of my seams open, and then I can sew the lining neckline to the bodice neckline, which will then let me sew up the armholes, which will then let me sew up the side seams, and this will be done. And I can start working on the skirt lining. And this fabric isn't sheer, so I wouldn't have to line. Why is that sticky? That's really sticky. I think someone's got something on that one. I'm going to unplug that. Going to go and put this in the other room. I'll be back in a second. Can't see the mannequin, but don't try and move it. Okay. Iron number 2 out of 3. Mum got interfacing on it. This one's pretty full of water, so I'll just let that heat up. So yeah, let's catch up with the chat whilst we're waiting for this to heat up. Alison says to Alex, I was watching a YouTube video last night from Japanese sewing studio and saw their Juki machines and thought of you. Can't think why that makes you think of Alex. I really love the conversation you've been having with Nia today as well, Alex. You're reading the sewing manuals for machines you don't even have now. I love it. So Lily Bell says, thank you for the tips. They are good ones. Going to get a chopping board. I have the sealant and tape for the seams. Wish me luck. You'll be fine. And we're going to look forward to seeing it when you're done. Leslie says, where is the best place to get not too expensive fabric for the princess coat? coating fabric's never really cheap. When they have it in the textile centre, I've been able to get coating wools from them for like £5 a metre, and I've used them for practice coats. I don't know. What about you guys? Has anyone got any ideas? Julie says, like the stream, like the stream. Yeah, there's 124 of us here. Wow. Sal says, just finished the last season of Sabrina. It was a love letter to Lovecraft. I loved it. I have only watched the first episode. I'm really looking forward to catching up with the rest. But like I say, that's one of those ones that I have to watch. I can't kind of have on the background. Jen says, I'm looking to make McCall's Sasha dress 8036. Have you made it? No, I haven't made any of their dresses that have got names. I have a couple of their patterns that are branded like that, but I haven't made any of them up as yet. My phone's over there, but I'll try. Remind me in a minute when I go back round and I'll have a look. Alex says to Alison, they have 5571. As far as I remember, you can only buy them secondhand now, or with other parts, all the 55 series. Ilova says, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you too. Lindsay says, Sian, do you find a pattern for the pinafore from the Queen's Gambit in the end? Yeah, it was the Vogue one. I really like how it turned out, although I fluffed up the lining because I added a lining, it doesn't have one. So I think the reason that didn't get featured in all my makes of 2020 was because I haven't finished it yet. It still needs hemming. I think I'm actually going to take the bodice off of that one and put a waistband on it to turn it into a skirt, because the top doesn't fit right because I fluffed up the lining. That was my own fault, but I am going to make it again. I've been looking for a more appropriate blue-green based plaid fabric, but I haven't found one that I love that is under like £30 a metre. So yeah, still looking, and I have enough fabric. Alex says to Alison, same with their overlocker. I think it's the 36 series. It was really good. If you ever find one, they are amazing. Alison says, Sian, have you ever considered getting one of those steam stations that many seamstresses have? What do you mean by that? I don't know what a steam station is. I'm hoping we can get a gravity feed iron for the new sewing room. I do have a super fancy iron back there that cost me 300 quid and then another £100 to have it fixed because it was broken when I got it, and I stupidly didn't send it back to be repaired within the warranty. And they've sent it back to me and it still doesn't work perfectly, because before it wasn't making steam and now it just pees out water. So I'm annoyed with myself for that one, for not having it fixed within warranty, and then for not getting the repair looked at again within warranty. But it was just, yeah, I don't know. We might have to see if because there's a guy that's local that fixes kind of like electrical appliances and stuff. So I might have to have a chat with him and see if there's something he can do about that iron. But yeah, we'll see. Okay. This version of this dress, the 8977, was inspired by a lady. If you put in 8977 and images, it'll come up with this lady who's made like a winter version of this dress with a kind of taupey brownie colored fabric with some piping. And it was seeing that photo when I was getting the pattern image to use in one of the videos, was what inspired me to make a winter version of this, because to me this is such a summery dress, and I probably wouldn't ever make it with the long sleeves because I I mean, I might make it with long sleeves if the sleeves were bishop sleeves, because I like wearing those kind of sleeves, but the tight fitted long sleeves in a woven, I have not yet, and I haven't made many, but I haven't yet met a pair of sleeves of that description that I enjoy wearing. And I end up taking most of them off of anything that I make with them in. But yeah, if you Google Vogue 8997, there's quite a few samples that come up from people who've made the dress, and the brown one was definitely inspiration for this all wintry version of it. Although how wintry a cream cotton dress is, as I've mentioned, I'm not sure, but I think as a layering piece it's going to be good. Oh, itchy eyeballs. So apparently we've had an email from the organisers of the Murder Mystery event that we're on this weekend, and somebody's gone missing. So that's not good, is it? Thought there would be another murder, but it's not who I thought it was going to be. Where did we get to with the chat? Let's see, where did I get to with the chat? Alison says to you, Alex, don't start me looking for another industrial machine. You are an enabler. Nicola says, coating from flamingo fabrics on special offer, or was. I bought some from Pound Fabrics, cheap as practice coat, cheap but good quality. Jane says, I bought wool for a Princess Toile from Colville. I'm going to make the short one first for fit. Good plan. Caroline says, £1 a metre have wool blends from about £3.95 and sometimes 3 metres for a tenner. It has a really good hand. Nicola says, the flamingo fabric coating was dead stock from Zara. Very cool. Julie says, actually, it was my son that reminded me to like today. Oh, thank you. Alex says to Leslie, I got some wool blends from Pound Fabrics for around £6 per metre, and it's really nice. Not as nice as Abraham Moon wool, but good for the price. Richard says, Stitch Fabrics in South Woodford has fantastic range of fabrics, including coat fabrics. I love Stitch Fabrics. That's where my Christmas present from Mum and Dad is coming from. Alison says, Steam Station is a gravity-fed iron. They're amazing, and also my Oliso iron. Yeah, I didn't know that there was a particular brand. I would like to get a gravity-feed iron, and I've been looking for ones in the UK. So that is the plan. I would like to have a permanent setup for the ironing station in the new sewing room, rather than what we've got now, because at the moment this is a really convenient place for the iron to be, but if Mum has the back of her sewing table up, I can't get in here, so we have to put it over there. So I would like to have a permanent ironing station set up that we don't have to kind of move around. I'm hoping we can organise the sewing room in such a way that we won't need to really move anything too frequently. We're not, unfortunately, I don't think we're going to have room to have the cutting table up permanently as well, because I want a really big cutting table. If you guys have watched Rachel's video, she's got 2 of the 150 long by 75 wide Linman tabletops, and that's exactly what I want. And I have a feeling that because Mum and I have the tables that we have that do expand and get bigger, I don't think we're going to have enough room for our tables to be, our sewing tables to be completely up, and to have the cutting table completely permanently situated. I think it's going to be a case of we have to pack our table down, our sewing table down, to get the cutting table out. And I have a solution for that, and it's not going to be too onerous a task to do that, and it will just mean that I probably will cut out for a couple of days and then sew for a couple of days, which is something that I do anyway, as you guys know. But yeah, the room that we're going to is Mum and Dad think it's bigger than this. I don't think it is. I think it's the same size as this room. It's a different configuration, and it's not got as many weird nooks and crannies like this slanted wall and things. So I think it's going to be easier to furnish usefully and set up usefully, but I don't think it's going to be big enough to have a permanent cutting table out all the time, because if it was, then I would build a lot of storage underneath it, like have a lot of storage underneath it. But as it goes, I think we're going to have the detachable legs from IKEA that you just screw in, and then the tabletops go up and down really easily because you just have to screw in 4 legs and it's up, which is not the end of the world and is very doable. So yeah, it's going to be one of those rooms that has multiple layouts to be super functional for us. But it's going to be fun planning that out. So I'm looking forward to that. Okay, so everything is pressed. Just going to get in there and do that. Everything is pressed. So now I can sew the necklines together to finish those. Right. I should try and catch up with the chat before I do that. Oh, I'm not too far behind. That's good. Alison says, do you watch Mutsu by Perspective Flow on YouTube? It's a Japanese artist. I want one of the machines he uses, Japso J222. Alison says, no, I don't, but we'll look it up. Charlie says, thumbs up, everyone. Thank you. Dee says, good morning from Greeley, Colorado, the USA. Good morning. Maggie's hair, morning. I'm making the True Bias Lander pants. I did the button placket before the center seam while everything was still flat. If I mess the pants up, I'm going to frame the placket. Awesome. Charlie is laughing at Maggie. Leslie says, thank you, ladies. Lots of places to look at later. Oh, that's brilliant, Maggie. I downloaded the expansion pack to turn it into a zipper fly. I just think with that really loud drill that I want to use, I think the zipper fly will be a bit better. But I do want to make the button fly as well, because I do like how that looks a lot. Right, so necklines. Let's sew some necklines together. I think I started waffling on about the reason I was fully lining this dress, and kind of went off on a tangent and forgot to finish my thought. But the reason I'm fully lining this dress is because this cotton will stick to tights if I don't fully line it. And I want to be able to wear this dress with tights. So that's why I am fully lining it. And I am lining the bodice with the slippery fabric. When I made the one that I've done the sew along for, I lined the bodice in the same fashion fabric, which I had way more than enough to do, and I really like the look of it. But again, I want to wear this over things, so I need the inside to be slippery so that it will work in that way. So yeah, right. Now this neckline's always a bit of fun. So I need to try and pin this correctly. Would help if my fabric would behave. There we go. I shall come back and fuss with that in a little bit because that's not perfect, but it's going to hold things in place so I can pin the rest of this. Julie says to Dee, I have a cousin there. Actually, my dad has a cousin there. Sloths and Orchids, that's an awesome name. It says, hello, I'm making the Sew Over It Jessie Cotigan. Very cool. Very cool. Dee says, that's cool to Julie. Julie says to Dee, without having been there, Colorado has a special place in my heart. And Julie says, Dee says to Julie, that's wonderful. It's a very nice place to live. Colorado does look beautiful. It's always been on my bucket list to do like a driving tour of America. Obviously not in the current situation, COVID or otherwise, but yes, I want to go and see all the roller coasters, and I want to go and see all these really pretty places because there is lots of them. Okay. Michelle is here. Hello, everyone. Hi, Michelle. How are you? Dee says hello. Julie says I'm freezing. Charlie says my son's girlfriend is from Montana. That's big country as well, isn't it? I think. So pinning all of this in place to get it all sewn. Deborah says, good morning from Arizona. I'm making the named clothing Seja knot tee with sleeves modified to long sleeves. Hope it looks okay. If it's the one I'm thinking of, I'm sure it will look lovely. Oh, what was that pattern I was meant to be looking at earlier? The McCall's pattern. Somebody asked about it. Going back in chat. Let's see. Maybe have gone past it. Ooh, didn't think it was that far back. Have I gone past it? I think I have. Sorry. Whoever asked the question about the McCall's pattern, could you ask it again with the number in it so that I can remember it and have a look? Because apparently I have memory like a sieve. Was it the Sasha 8036? Is that right? Where did I get to? Deborah, oh, I've read that one. Dee says, my husband is from Montana. It's snowing here. Wow. Yeah, we have no snow. We had frost, but no snow. It got below -0 for the first time the last night or the night before. Let's see. Where did I get to? Caroline says, Serdan has just climbed onto my lap to watch you. Why is it big dogs are always convinced they're lap dogs? Why? Oh, bless him. Charlie says, Deborah, my dad learned to fly Spitfires in Phoenix, Arizona. D, the trees here, Surrey, UK, are pure white with frost. Ooh, that's pretty. Right, let's start sewing in some necklines. Move your foot up, please. Thank you. Okay. Oh, I was going to have another look at this because that hadn't quite been as smoothly as I wanted it to. I get pricked by many pins. Okay. Let's whip this slightly off there. This neckline's a little bit tricky because you need the V to be perfect, and you need it to, if it's not quite perfect either way, you'll either end up with a hole or a pucker. But it's fine. You can do. Okay, so I'm going to leave a little bit of room for my zip to go in later in the way that I like to put in my zips. Then I'm just going to sew around the neckline. Make sure everything is lying nice and flatly. And making sure everything is lying nicely. So proper concentration face now. Okay. Let's hope that bit went in. Oh, it's perfect. That's always nice when that happens. Right, so now I can pin the other side to get that perfect. Close. There we go. And we'll sew that one into place. Let's see, where did I get to with the chat? Sal says it's warm here in Australia because it's summer. I've got my fan on. I am jealous. I'd like it to be summer. I like summer. Julie says it's not even freezing here, but I'm still ready to crawl on top of the radiator. Charlie says I once watched ducklings hatching on Christmas Day in Australia, 1979. Oh, that's so cute. Julie says I want to go to Australia like now, as in teleporting. Oh, Jen, it was the McCall's 8036. I was close, I think. McCall's 8036. Do I have this one? Oh, I do have this one, and it is in my plans to make it soon. I haven't made it as yet, but I do have plans to make it soon. Let me show you guys which one I'm talking about. Probably, I think this is the one I have. I like B a lot. I would probably make it longer. Hang on, let me see if this is it. It is the actual one that I have. Oh, you guys distract me so easily. Ah, no. I have this one. I'm sorry. I don't have that one in my stash. I have 8035. Maybe I do have 8036. But yeah, I have plans to make this one from this. Let me just have a look. Oh, fabric samples. Put this back. Wrap dresses. Wrap dresses. No, I don't have that one. I'm sorry. I have the 8035. I have done a couple of wrap dress pattern sew-alongs though, which probably will be valid. There is, I can't remember the number of it now. There's a couple on my channel. Charlie says, I'll meet you there, Julie. Dee says to Charlie, it's been really cold the last couple of days. Before that, it was in the mid to high 40s for a couple of weeks. Loved it. Julie says, yay, Charlie, maybe we could make a whole team of peeps and use our collective brainwave to make it happen. Charlie says, high 40 degrees centigrade is just a little too warm for me. High 40 degrees Fahrenheit is fine. Dee says Fahrenheit, definitely. Charlie says, if we can move mannequins, we can certainly work something out. Sal says, our hottest day in summer thus far has been 43 degrees and I was in a car at the time. Ooh, ouch. Alison says, if you want the McCall's pattern, let me know. As Spotlight have them on sale at the moment. My pattern swap partner has my entire list of patterns that I would like, and I think that one's on it. So I don't know what she's got me for Christmas yet, so I'm going to wait until they've arrived. But thank you very much, Alison, and I probably will take you up on a pattern when they have Vogue on sale next time. I'll take you up on that for sure. Olivia says, can't remember how you were organising your patterns in order to avoid duplicates. I know you streamed it before the holidays. I was taking photos of them to putting on my website. I think I've only got a couple of duplicates that I've actually ordered. A lot of the ones that I've got duplicates of, I've been gifted. I am going to change my pattern organisation a little bit when we move because I'm hoping to put it all on one bookcase rather than in these. Because whilst these are okay, they're not brilliant. So I'm planning on using these for thread storage if we have room for them. Sloth Snorkers says, do you have a virtual system to catalogue your patterns? I have a website that I'm going to put my patterns onto. It was one of those things that I've taken all the pictures and I was going to start slogging away at it, and then I was going to wait whilst I was away at Wilson's because I wouldn't be able to do any other work. But then I found quite a lot of work to do whilst I was away. Then I'm waiting until we've moved because I'm not going to have a sewing room for a while, although I will be decorating my bedroom and the walk-in wardrobe that we're going to have. So I don't know how much free time I'm going to have then either, but we'll see. But the idea is that they're all going to go on my website, and that will be a catalogue for me to have a look through for what I have, and hopefully it'll be a reference library for you guys as well, because obviously if I've made anything, I will have a link from that pattern picture to the made item with the video review or sew along, those kind of things. Maggie said, Rachel Spelling, what cutting tables? My husband is going to make one for me. Ideas would help. Rachel from Stitched Up has just put up her new sewing room layout and it looks awesome. Tash says, the string keeps getting caught in my machine and I can't start sewing. Any tips? I tried many things now. I would say, as annoying as it is, completely unthread everything, clean everything out, rethread it. If you're still having problems, try a different bobbin, try new needles. It depends what machine you have, but yeah, that's generally my advice, is to just rethread everything and start over. Ilova says, great idea, Sian. Gian says, in Minnesota it's only 22 degrees where I live. You have taught me a lot. Awesome, thank you. And brr, that's cold. Sloths and Orchid says, I love it. I love that. Monica says, sitting in Abu Dhabi at noon, 25 degrees C, but in the morning and evening it's much cooler. So I'm sitting with freezing cold fingers in front of sewing machine, no heating indoors. Oh, I'd love to be in the Emirates though. Oh yeah, fabric shopping out there. Oh. Charlie says, Rachel Stitch Up has an awesome room. Do go and check it out. Linda's here. Good afternoon from me and Miss Millie. Had 2 viewers this morning for our property. So awkward having to wait outside. Yes. Yeah. Very. Wilson went to look at a flat yesterday, and apparently everyone was just at home, and there was just people in every room, and he was just like, it was so awkward. It's like walking in, it's like, hi. Okay. The slippery lining is a pain. Worth it once it's in, but a pain. Again, we've got proper concentration face going on now, so that I don't fluff anything up. Okay. Where do we get to? Dee says, have you considered Airtable? It's a database you can do lots of searches. I haven't really considered anything other than my website, because I have my website, and because, you know, it's all geared up to do what I've asked my designer to put in specifically what I want and need from my pattern database. So that's the only reason I'm using my website. Obviously, that's not going to work for anyone else, unless you have the same website. And I can highly recommend my website designer. He is awesome. But yeah, no, I'm using my website, and I'm not considering using anything else because I have it. But I know there are lots of really, really good options out there. I've got a whole bunch of work emails to reply to, and one of them is from a lady who's putting together an app for project planning, and it sounds really interesting. I haven't replied to her as yet. I need to do that. But I know there are a lot of really, really good ideas for organizing your patterns and things like that. But as I say, the reason I'm using my website is because I have it, so that makes sense. Yeah. Right. Okay, so need to do some understitching now. Fun times. We'll need to clip some corners and points and things first, though. Gian says, can you tell me what type of sewing machine you have? It's a Benina 830. Really ought to write it on the side here, or like, you know, fill this Benina bit here in, and then write 830 on the side. Jen says, do you have a moving date yet? Charlie says, Jen, don't ask. Rygrin. No, not yet. It's unbelievably ridiculous, Jen. Like, we don't have a moving date yet. It's all still up in the air. We don't know anything. It's just ridiculous. Oh, I'm really happy with that point. So I'm going to trim off all the excess fabric carefully, because I don't want to fluff anything up. And then I can understitch. So just carefully trim back these little pointy bits here. There we go. And this side. But no, we as yet we don't have a moving date, and it's very frustrating. Very frustrating. Okay. Bits of curves around here. sure everything's going to turn through nicely. Okay, that one's all good. Start this side. Debbie says, I'm waiting for the Vogue holiday patterns to be available. They're beautiful things in there. Damn it. Yes. My Big Four pattern wish list is huge. I think there's something like 50 patterns on there. And obviously Michelle won't have got me all of those. But she will have got me some of them, which is exciting, but I don't know which ones as yet. Okay. Right, understitching time. Where do we get to with the chat? Charlie says, those scissors are so sharp. They are, they're amazing. Highly recommend, highly recommend. Right. Okay, I can do this. I haven't done this for a long time, but I can do this. This is fine. Just struggling to find out where to start doing my unstitching. Ugh. Come on. Right. So there we go. Hold on to the threads. Where did I get to with the chat? Where did I get to with the chat? Alison says, I have just completed putting on clear plastic sleeves on my patterns and OMG, do I have a lot. I always say that I am not buying any more patterns, but then Spotlight have a sale. Yes. McCall's or Something Delightful, they're now called, aren't they? They had a sale in America and I was so tempted, so tempted. But like I say, I don't know what patterns the very lovely Michelle has got me for my pattern swap. So I am waiting with bated breath. But they do those sales enough that I wasn't like, oh gosh, I'm missing out. So yeah. Charlie says, you got this. Thank you. Tash says, you're doing great. Thank you. Jen says, sorry, I was asking. I thought I might have missed it. Sorry, Jen, don't worry. It's totally fine. It's totally fine. Don't worry. No, it's all just not happened yet. It will eventually. We won't be here forever. We'll be saying this next year. It'll be January next year. And it'll be like, well, the estate agents have just talked us into not putting the house back on the market again because the lady's just about ready. And it's like, yeah. I was getting a little fraught earlier. And I've now come to the funny side of it. Because you kind of have to laugh, don't you? Trying to talk Rachel into buying the house, actually, so her and her husband could come move down here from Yorkshire. And then I'd have another sewing friend on the island, which would be awesome. I don't think I managed to do it, though, which is sad. But Yorkshire to the Isle of Wight is a little bit of a difference, isn't it? Right. So that's one side done. Let's get rid of the thread and do the other side. Then can sew up the armholes. I don't think this is how the pattern tells you to finish this dress, but this is my preferred method for pretty much any dress that I make, because I really prefer sewing up the armholes by machine rather than by hand. And it does make it fiddly. Some of the patterns that I've done, I've definitely made more work for myself doing it this way, but I do prefer how it looks. I don't press before understitching because I find the understitching helps me to press. But I know that's not how everyone does it. Okay, so trim my threads. And then we can start doing some sleeves or armholes. Okay, armhole time. So pin these into place, get them sewn up. It's going to be a tight squeeze turning them through, but as I say, I prefer this finish, so I think it's worth it. Now, if I was putting sleeves in this, I wouldn't finish this dress this way, but as I am making it sleeveless, this is what I'm doing. Let's see, where did I get to? Richard says, John bought me the lateral system for Christmas. I've done a video on making the first skirt from it and it worked really well. Has anyone else tried the system? I haven't tried it, but I have seen people use it and they've made amazing things out of it. I've tried something similar, but not the lateral one itself. Jen says to Alison, I'm the same with Spotlight patterns. Gian says it's America to get, it's an American to get 10 patterns that you want because we can buy them for $1.99 when they're on sale. Yeah. Charlie says my sister was told by her buyer wanted vacant possession by the end of the week, so they rented a house for 3 months. The sale fell through a month ago. They moved back in. Oh no, I'm so sorry, Charlie. Gian says, I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you, Vogue patterns are $4.99. Oh, I've got to behave. Got to behave. I need to know what I got for my pattern swap parcel before so I can take those off my wish list so that I can then know which ones, because I don't want to duplicate, obviously. Dee says, I have an old mechanical Banana 830. It's my backup machine. I now have a Baby Lock Aria and Triumph and an old Janome Memory Craft 10,000 for embroidery. Don't know how to use it yet, but good luck. How much fun working it out though, Dee. Alison says, I bought some patterns from the US from McCall's and Vogue, and they're in their latest sale. I so want that McCall skirt pattern that you just made, as it's never available here in Australia. I paid 25 US for postage. If you order from Simplicity, the postage is just under $10 US. How do they justify their postage prices? To be fair, Alison, that's amazing. The last time I put together a McCall's order, I think I had something like 15 patterns and they wanted $100 in postage. So $25 is actually pretty damn good. Noelia says, hi, Sean and Peeps. Hello, welcome. Happy New Year. Sloths and Orchids says, I think an inventor of a compact home A0 printer for tissue paper would be a very rich person. Yep. Claudia says, Vogue are actually $5.99 at Joann's from next week. Oh, good to know. Got to stop tempting me, though. I need to find out what I got first. Alison says to Dee, amongst my sewing machine collection, I have a Bernina 830 and I love it, although I would dearly love a Bernina 932. Deborah says, is the Luttrell system okay for beginners or for more experienced sewers? I've never used it. I think there is a learning curve with it. I would say that you need basic sewing knowledge before you start using it, though, because I think there's a fair amount of assumed knowledge for construction. But again, I've not used it. So for somebody who has, please let me know. I think Julian got one for, I don't know if it was for a birthday or just for himself recently. But I think he got the Luttrell system recently as well. I saw a lady at the Knitting and Stitching show, and everything she made was from the Luttrell pattern book, and it looked amazing. She was very stylish. Very stylish indeed. Okay. Getting my armholes pinned in. Little bit of easing to do there. Let's do the other side, get that one sewn, and then do the other side. Claudia says, I sent my swap partner in England 12 patterns with some fabric pieces, paid less than $40 for the postage. That was US mail. Might be able to do better with another service. Alison says, I really like the Islander sewing system. Tomcat Stitchery also just received the Luttrell system. Awesome about the postage, Claudia, as well, because usually, I mean, the postage from America is always incredibly high, isn't it? I mean, I know $40 is expensive. I do know that, but yeah, I mean, I've received boxes, as you guys know, which, you know, it's like nearly $100 on just the postage, which is madness. I mean, obviously, very much appreciated and well received, but yeah, the cost of postage is so expensive. I think I was telling you guys I wanted to order a corset from America, and the price of postage was almost the same as the corset, and I ended up not ordering it. And I might see if one of my very lovely friends who is coming over when travel is allowed again might let me have it sent to them, although I probably ought to just try and make my own corset. That is, again, something that I would like to try this year, so we shall see. Oh, there we go. I always do that. If I move the needle and then don't move it back immediately, I forget that I've done it. We've been going for 2 hours and 10 minutes. Kind of hoping to have had this finished by now, but I have been chatting a lot as well, haven't I? To keep reminding myself that I do chat a lot when I do this. So it's not really surprising that I'm not faster. But again, this would be another reason that I'd be terrible on the Great British Sewing Bee. cannot chat and sew. There's one armhole done. I will use my pinking shears to notch that edge. But I need to sew the other armhole first. So let's get that pinned. Where did we get to with the chat? Bakirare says, you have to have some knowledge of sewing to use the lateral system, i.e. how to construct collars, cuffs, etc. But I'm loving using it. My video of the skirt I've made has helped a few folk. Ah, cool. Absence Kiss says, I have some lateral books going back to the 1930s. When I get my channel going, would lateral videos be useful? Definitely, definitely. I think it's a system that a lot of people are worried about because they don't quite understand how it all works. So I think that would be a very good idea. Awesome name as well, by the way. Claudia says, I did not think $40 was too bad considering the patterns were only $2 each. Yeah, no, $40 is pretty good. Pretty good. Alison says to Absence Kiss, yes, for the lateral videos. Claudia says, when all of this mess is over, I want to come to the UK. I'll bring everybody a suitcase full. Look, Claudia, I'm going to hold you to that. Karen says, but worth it. Still so much cheaper than trying to buy them in the UK. Definitely. Ilova says to Absence Kiss, yes, for the lateral videos. Claudia says, hi, Karen. Alison says, Sean, there is a supplier in the UK for corset supplies. Yeah, is there a supplier? Yes, Vina Cava that I know of. I'm sure there's more than Vina Cava, but Vina Cava do a lot of corsetry supplies. And they stock truly Victorian patterns and stuff as well. That's where I got my tailor's anvil from. Absence Kiss says, thank you. It will be a few months yet, but it's very helpful. Thank you all. Charlie says, am I right in thinking lateral is basically vintage? No, no, it's a style of pattern making where you get rulers and you get a tiny little book with patterns in it, and then you use the rulers corresponding to your sizes to draft your own patterns from it. And I don't know when they started, clearly in the 1930s or before, but they do have modern versions of their pattern books now as well. Let's see. Absence says, look at Vina Cava and So Curvy for corset supplies. I've used Vina Cava for years. Yeah, I love Vina Cava. They're very good. Johanna, hello everyone. Hi, how are you? Karen says hi to Claudia. Wacky Wear says, no, lateral system is up to date, but they have 1 or 2 vintage patterns in each supplement. Claudia says, I'm laughing, but absolutely will. Hey, Karen, are you making any of the patterns? By the way, Karen was my partner. That gingerbread chocolate bar did not last long. Wow. Oh, awesome. Very cool. Very cool. Right, let's get this other armhole pinned and sewn. And I can trim them, turn them, press them, and sew the side seams. And then I'll have a bodice, which is exciting. Well, it's exciting, but that means that I have to then start working on the skirt lining, which I am not looking forward to. Only because it's boring and time-consuming and labour-intensive. Because there are 8 panels in the skirt, and I want to French seam them because this is me. Because of course I do. So, yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Going to I've got into a really bad habit of drinking Coke again. It's caffeine-free Coke, so it doesn't keep me up, and it's calorie-free, but it's not great for me, and I'm aware of that, so I need to stop drinking quite so much of it. I can easily drink like 2 liters of that in a day, and I struggle to drink 2 litres of water. So I need to just get over myself and start drinking more water. It's going to be good for me. Why is everything that's good for you boring or unpleasant? I mean, and when exercise isn't unpleasant, I don't get the endorphin rush from it. I just feel uncoordinated and unfit. But if I persevere and keep doing it, I will obviously get better. So it's like catch-22 for me anyway. But why can't bacon and cheese be good for you? Right. Let's get this armhole sewn up. I'm gonna have the next time we go to a knitting and stitching show, when I'm assuming and hoping and planning on life kind of resuming something like normalcy. Well, a new normal in the future. But when we go to the knitting and stitching show again, I am going to have a closer look at the lateral system. As I say, the patterns that I've seen people sew up are gorgeous, and I like the idea of it. I mean, it's quite a hefty investment, but when you think about the number of patterns that you're getting and the variations that you can make from there, it's probably very good value for money if you use it. That's the other thing, isn't it? Got to use these things. I haven't really made any resolutions for this year, but I'm kind of trying the make more of my pattern stash, because I can very easily get into a comfort zone, as you guys have seen. Somebody commented on one of my videos that I do seem to favour big skirts and nipped-in waists, and it's like, well, yeah, I do, because I feel comfortable in that style. And I do branch out every now and again and make different things, but I do feel most comfortable when I have on a big skirt, a fitted bodice, and a nipped-in waist. And I think one of the things that you do when you sew is you find something that you like and that you feel comfortable in, and then you make a lot of those things. So I am trying to branch out, hence trying to make trousers, although I am fully aware I'm making a dress, which is a nipped-in waist and a full skirt on it at this moment in time. But yeah. Let's see, where did I get to? Judy says, I think McCulloch & Wallace stock corset supplies. They do indeed, Judy. McCulloch & Wallace is another shop that I absolutely love. It used to be just around the corner from me when I lived in London. That was dangerous. Thankfully, I wasn't quite as into sewing then as I am now, because otherwise it would, I mean, I lived just around the corner from Berwick Street. So yeah, I lived just off Tottenham Court Road. So it's pretty much as central in London as you can possibly get. Yeah, thankfully, I wasn't as into sewing as I am now, because otherwise I would just have had all the fabric and I'd have constantly been in there. Caroline says, just finished hooking my rug. Nice. Carol says, change of management should improve our postal system when it is no longer run by someone trying to run it into the ground for personal gain. Sorry for getting political. Yeah, I'm going to agree with that, definitely. Karen says, no, not yet. So many to choose from. Not sure where to start. Oh, sorry. Claudia says, hey, Karen, are you making any of the patterns? By the way, Karen was my pattern partner. Pattern swap partner. Sloth and Orchids says, raising a cup of tea for French seeming everything. Noelia says, never heard of the lateral system. Going to look into it. Let us know what you think, Noelia. How was your Christmas, my lovely? Right. I need pinking shears. And she'll now carefully pink my armholes. I'm so tempted to start working on the skirt outer first, but I really ought to do the lining because I know I'm not going to enjoy it. So it would be sensible to get it out of the way and done, wouldn't it? Okay. These are the Kai shears that I mentioned in my favorite tools video, and the lovely KK got me, and they are absolutely awesome. Highly recommend. I think I've had them for like, I know I got them in November because I was at I was in Essex teaching the first necessary clutch wallet class, and KK had sent them to my PO box, and I got to open them in Essex, and yeah. Sal says, I have a New Year's resolution to finally have tears roll down my face. At 38, I've never experienced it, thus calling a surgeon tomorrow to fix it. Oh, good luck with that, Sal. Yeah, Noelia Wackywear has a YouTube channel and has been doing some videos on Lotterol, so that could be a point of research if you would like to have a look. Okay. So it's going to be a little bit tight pulling this through the shoulder straps because they are quite narrow, but it's definitely doable. Well, I hope it is, because otherwise I'm screwed. But again, this is how I made the last one, although the last one was out of a viscose, which was much lighter weight fabric than this. But this, I'm sure it'll be fine. It'll be fine. As I mentioned, I've got enough of this fabric left over to make myself like a half circle skirt with it as well, which I am excited about. So that may well be the next project I do if I chicken out the trousers, but I do think I'm going to try the Decades of Style Empire waist trousers first. I think they will be probably the easiest to fit, because they are not fly front, they just have an invisible zip fastening, so I think they will be the easiest ones to fit. So yeah, I think that's going to be what I start with. And I'm pretty I'm going to make muslins out of everything, and I'm going to use calico to start with, but I'm pretty convinced that I'm going to use that emerald green denim that I showed you guys for the Decades of Style trousers. I want to use a drapier fabric for them as well, because I think they would give very different looks. And if I do make them out of the emerald denim, I'm going to add belt loops, very much like the McCall's 7906 skirt, because I think that would look really cool. So yeah, I think I'm going to do the green denim in them because I like the idea of those as jeans. I mean, obviously they're not jeans, but denim trousers, wide leg denim trousers, I think would look really cool and fit in very well with the 70s-ness of the collection that I'm doing. So yeah. Yeah, so it's a little bit tight, but it's coming through. That's another reason for using the super slippery lining. Looks like a sausage. It looks like a sausage. There we go. So I have a very nicely finished neckline and armhole. So that all needs pressing. which I will go and do, and then we can sew up the side seams. But before I sew up the side seams, I do need to pull through the other side. So let's do that as well. Here we go. I'm going to bring you guys a little closer so I can see what you guys are talking about whilst I lean back. Where did I get to? Wackywear says, sorry, not on here to advertise myself. Just get caught up in the excitement when there's sewing chat around. Lol, that's fine. Noelia says, we had a quiet Christmas, but it was lovely. Thanks. Sadly, no extended family were there for obvious reasons, and I'm not sure when I'll ever see my parents in Spain. I can see them, hopefully, fingers crossed, I can see them sometime this year. Yeah. I think I told you Wilson's brother lives in Madrid. And obviously hasn't seen him since Christmas 2019. So yeah, he's missing them, and obviously his dad lives in Malaysia, and he hasn't seen them since 2019. And he was hoping to go this year, but doesn't know. Fingers crossed that we can. My brother's moving out to Malaysia this year for work, and he has to go. So that is, he's not going on a jolly. He's going to be there for 3 years. Which, if we can travel and go and visit him, will be amazing. So fingers crossed that will be possible soon at some point. Charlie says, Noelia, hoping 2021 will be a better Fiat year for all of us. Noelia says, thanks to Wackywear, I've just subscribed. Laurel says, good morning from Chicago, everyone. Making some tea and toast before finishing cutting out the 3/4 sleeve t-shirt. Got to have caffeine to make sure I don't cut 2 left sleeves. Yeah. Noelia says, yes, Charlie, fingers crossed. Once we've all had the jab, it should hopefully start to get better. Fingers crossed indeed. Charlie says, yes, indeed. It was, I was a medical microbiologist once. Very cool, Charlie. Sean says, I joined Sew Today on Sew Direct website. You pay £14 every 6 months and you get free pattern every 6 months. You get 40% off all patterns, Vogue, New Look, Simplicity, Butter, etc., and an online magazine. Yeah, I used to be a member of Sew Direct as well, when it was still doing the printed magazine. And I got a lot of inspiration from that. But then you guys very kindly, you American peeps, very kindly started allowing me and enabling me to get patterns from the US, either as gifts, which was amazing, and obviously me buying them and you sending them over as well. So I sort of stopped, because I know a 40% discount's great, but still doesn't quite add up to $2.99 a pattern. So yeah, but the Sew Direct, I really like the Sew Direct magazine as well. I'm sad that they stopped printing it. I'm glad they're still making the digital version. Noelia says, that sounds like a very interesting job, Charlie. Alex says, have fun, Peeps and Sean. Have to go. Thank you for your lovely company. Thank you for joining us, Alex. It was lovely to see you. Noelia says, Madrid is covered in snow at the moment. Wow. I wouldn't have thought that. I loved Madrid. I've only been once, and only for like 2 days. But it was beautiful. I'd love to go back. Alison says to Alex, goodbye, take care and stay safe. Right. So, time to press and then turn this into a bodice. I'll turn you around. Then turn the iron on. There we go, that's better. Right. Pressing, all of the pressing. I'm going to do the neckline first, I think. Then I can move on to the armholes. I just need to wait for my iron to heat up. Might do this on my ham. There we go. Wackywear says, thank you to Noelia, you won't look back. And Noelia says goodbye to Alex and then is giggling at Wackywear. Right. Come on, iron. This one does take longer to warm up. There we go. This is definitely getting my sojo going again. I'm really enjoying making this. I think you guys hanging out with me is helping, but I am really enjoying making this. Hopefully it's as versatile as I think it's going to be. Like in my head, this is a really versatile dress. Hopefully that proves to be the case. If it's not as versatile as I think it is going to be, at least it's going to be a really pretty dress. Because I mean, I know I love it from the one that I made last year. And I know I enjoy wearing it, even though I've not worn that one out. It's very swooshy. And one of those fun dresses to wear. Judy says, finally doing some sewing, quilting my 12 days of Christmas quilt. Oh, cool. I'm really looking forward to seeing how that comes out. Okay, so that's my neckline done. Let's try and press some sleeves. So this should sit really nicely because I've done my little trick of offsetting the lining by 1/8 of an inch so that it rolls to the inside, which seems to have worked quite well. Which is good. Okay, that's number 1 done. Number 2 now. Charlie says, pianist at Peter Pan's Playground, Brighton, for 2 summers, transferred from music degree to microbiology degree at university. After a year, went round the world, mainly using public transport, 79 to 80. Very cool. Very cool. Wacky Wear says, do you sew every day, more or less? I start getting the shakes if I miss a day on the sewing machine, lol. Yes, I mean, there are, we have filming days, I have editing days, as I'm sure you are discovering. But yeah, I pretty much sew every day. And I haven't since about the 23rd of December, because I took some time off, which is very unlike me, as you guys know. And kind of lost my sojo a bit, but I think that's because of stuff that's going on externally as much as it is for just us as well. So yeah, and I always get the January blues. I'm taking vitamin D tablets, which are helping. But yeah, this is my Get My Sojo Back project. Because I know it fits, I know how to make it, I've already done all the hard work of altering and fitting the pattern, so all I have to do is cut it out and sew it, and it's a pretty dress, and it's not yet another Eve dress or yet another Anna dress. Although if this becomes my new Sojo fixer, I'm going to end up with a lot of very full fluffy skirted dresses in my stash, more so than I already have. And I have quite a lot. Right, let's sew up some side seams. Dad's listening to the radio right outside the door. Judy says, and I'm using the Bernina stitch regulator to do so. Talk about learning curve. Oh, isn't it just? Isn't it just? Definitely worth it once you've got the hang of it, though. But yeah, definite learning curve with that. Again, that's why I asked Mum to quilt, the kids' play quilt, rather than doing it myself, because I didn't want to flop it up.
Are you all right? Do you need anything?
I've got leave cooking. I'll have another glass of Coke if I may.
Coke?
Yes, please. I've got the glass here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
you very much. You're going to say hi.
Oh!
They'll get upset.
Oh.
Alison said she never received her present from you or the emails. That's why she's not replied. So we need to sit down and try and work that out.
How bizarre.
I know.
Because I responded to hers, the email.
Yeah. But I mean, I have that happen to me a lot, that emails go missing.
Alison, I'm really sorry.
Yeah, Mum said
Did you get the
no, she hasn't had her present or anything.
The membership?
Yeah,
though?
she hasn't had
She hasn't that either.
No.
Nor the parcel.
No.
Nor have we. Isn't it weird?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm really sorry.
That's all right, but we shall sort it out.
Yeah.
Right. Charlie says, on return, became an accountant, then got married and became a photographer of children and pets, supplemented income by sewing, still working for family business, property development. Very cool, Charlie. Noelia says, I work closely with microbiologists as a midwife as I work with pregnant women who have HIV and hepatitis B. I find it fascinating. Very cool, Noelia. Julie says, hi, Mum. Charlie says, I loved microbiology. It was especially loved proving diagnoses were wrong, though it didn't make me popular. Do you guys watch, or have you guys watched House? He'd have loved you. Lots of people saying hi to Mum. Bethany's here. Hello, Bethany. How are you, my lovely? Alison says, please tell Mum there is nothing to be sorry about. I will do. I will do. But yeah, she was convinced you'd already got your present and things. So we'll sort it out, Alison. It'll be fine. Alison says, please tell Mum there is nothing to be sorry about.
Well, the parcel must be on its way.
Well, all the American parcels have arrived, but the Australian post is really behind.
Right.
So it should be soon.
So that should
because it went the same.
The membership's worrying. I'll look into that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you for my drink. Everyone's saying hi to you, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Noelia says, I bet Charlie, doctors can be real divas. You guys are awesome. Okay, let's get this one sewn up and then I can move on to the other one and then press it and I'll have a bodice, which means I have to start sewing the skirt lining. Have I whined about that enough yet? Do you know how much I am looking forward to that? Okay. first one done. That will be fine once I've given that press. So let's get this one done. Anne-Marie is here. Hi, Sean, Mum and Peeps. Hello. Caroline says hi to Bethany. Sal says, my middle son is currently going through House. He loves the show. It's amazing. It's one of my favorites. I've watched it through twice or 3 times, I think. Probably will do again. Charlie says, I wanted to be a forensic pathologist, but girls weren't allowed to study for that. Hence, I became a microbiologist. That's very annoying. My nephew's doing that at the moment. That's what he's studying, to become a forensic pathologist. Alison says, I do have the membership, so no worries. Oh, you did get that one. It was just the other emails that you haven't gotten. Okay, cool. Laurel says, it was so strange to hear Hugh Laurie speak in perfect American accent when I first started watching House. Then I heard that British people thought his American accent was terrible. I thought it was amazing. It was a really funny quote. I can't remember who he was doing an interview with, but he was like, he said acting in an American accent is like trying to sword fight with a salmon. You get used to it. But it was something apparently that he kept up for the entirety of the series because he found it easier to keep the accent the entirety of time, in and out of work as well, and then dropped it when the season had finished. And apparently some people thought he was American and found it very odd when he started speaking to them in a perfect British accent. And he's like, no, actually English. Well, actually British, sorry. But yeah, the salmon quote was very funny. It was such a good show. Really enjoyed that show. Right. Let's sew up this side seam. And then I get to do the skirt lining. Yay! Okay, proper concentration face again, I'm sorry. Nearly done. Okay. Alison says, I love Hugh Laurie as the Prince of Wales and Blackadder. Yep. Michelle says, I thought he was an American, lol. Yeah. I thought his American accent was brilliant. Charlie says, Blackadder, what a joy. Eileen says, hi, Shine and Peeps also loved Blackadder. Hello, Eileen. How are you, my lovely? Sal says, I would love if Hugh Laurie became a doctor in Doctor Who. He would be perfect for it. That would be very cool. Laurel says, I first saw him as Bertie Wooster in the TV adaptation of Jeeves' novels. Hilarious. Has anyone read his novel, The Gunseller, Clever Cloak and Dagger Stuff? I haven't read his novels. Right. Let's press this, but we nearly have a finished bodice. So I'm going to turn you around because, you need to see the pressing. definitely need to see the pressing side of things, and just trying to surreptitiously pull up my tights and realize that there's a giant mirror right there, so you can see everything I'm doing anyway. So fabulous. And Julian's here, says howdy, good morning from the East Coast. Hello, Julian, how are you? Happy New Year. We were talking about you earlier. Did you invest in the Lotteroll system last year, or was it a different but similar kind of sewing system that you got? Oh, got to wait for that to warm up. Eileen says, I'm currently in quarantine again as I came into contact with someone who later tested positive. We both wore masks, so I'm hopeful I will escape, but I have another 10 days to go before I am free. Fingers crossed everything works out for you, Eileen. Julia says, yes, I have the Lotteroll. Yeah, I thought it was that. We were talking about it earlier. Noelia says, I love Hugh Laurie in Sense and Sensibility. Yes. Yes. He's married to that. Yeah. Oh, he does make me giggle. I do like Sense and Sensibility, that adaptation. It's very good. Totally would marry Alan Rickman, 100%. Feel very sorry for Hugh Laurie. Sorry, just waiting for the iron to warm up. This one's a little slower than the other one. Get there eventually. Eileen says, my neighbours here are so kind. Someone left flowers at my door this morning and another friend just dropped off some mango sorbet. Delicious. Oh, lovely. Julian says, actually have quite a few supplements. I've been buying different decades to see all the vintage designs. Ah, very cool. Very cool. Right, it's warm enough. Let's press these side seams open. Just turn it around, do this side. And then press it nice and flat. Okay. Now, other side seams. I really liked the bright yellow cardigan that you sewed up, Julian. It kind of almost looks like a frock coat, the line drawings, if you know, like a very relaxed knit frock coat, but it's that kind of line, so I very much liked it. And fabulous colour. Just squish this one flat. And we have a bodice. So I'm going to put that on my dress form and I'm going to sew up the lining, which is behind me. I'm trying to work out where I'd put it. Let's see. Okay. Obviously, it doesn't fit her as well as it fits me. So just going to excuse myself for two minutes. I will be back. Leave the mannequin alone. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm back. Stop talking about me. I really don't want to sew this lining together. Right. Let's try and catch up with the chat. I'm getting really hungry. We're having, like I say, we're having a late lunch, early dinner. In not too long, actually, probably in about 45 minutes. So hungry. Might have to eat my other cookie. It's reasonable, isn't it? Sal says, if you want to see Hugh Laurie as a bad guy, The Night Manager, in which Tom Hiddleston is the good guy. Yeah, I haven't watched The Night Manager yet, but apparently it's very good. Looking forward to finally getting around to that one. I think it's one of those ones I'm actually going to have to concentrate on as well. Julian says, thank you. It was a pretty neat pattern to try. Yeah, I liked how it looked. And it was Wilson would never wear something like that, but it was a really cool to see like slightly different styling lines for men's patterns. I'm so happy. Literally call this Christmas crack. It's just so good. It's good that it's only available at Christmas time. My hair is very fluffy today. So there's 127 of us at the moment, and you've all gone really quiet in the chat. Does anyone have any questions? Julian says that site has over 800 men's patterns, so we will be trying others. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to have a look at that because there might be some stuff in there that Wilson likes. Because at the moment I have one sewing pattern for him that he picked out. The rest of them he kind of like was like, I'll have to have a look. Wacky Wear says, shirt, quiet everyone, she's back. Laurel says, Julian, I'll have to look that up. Sounds interesting from Sean's description. Oh, God. Always a happy food dance. Snowblower says, hi, I'm new to watching but cooking at the same time. Did I miss any announcement about your move? No, not yet. Not yet. We still don't know anything. We're back in limbo. If you'd have been here since the beginning, or when I started streaming today, I was having a bit of a rant about it. I'm kind of back to the humour side of things now, thank goodness. So, Julian says, yes, there were some cool moto jackets and different pants with interesting details. He'll like the moto jackets, although he has so many black jackets. I'm not sure he needs any more. Maybe I can make him a grey one. He doesn't really do colour, which is very unfortunate. Although we were having a fight about what colour wool he bought me for Christmas. It's teal, but to me it's leaning very blue teal. So it's blue, and he's saying it's green. It's like, it's not green. I'll show you guys in the Christmas present video, which hopefully I'll be able to film on Tuesday, because Stitch Fabrics have said that they've sent out the last bit of fabric. But we were having an argument about it last night. I was like, look, it's blue. And he's like, it's not blue, it's green. And I held up something next to it. I was like, what colour is this? He says, that's blue. And I was like, look, they're the same colour. He's like, it's green. But he does like being contrary. So I think at one point he was just being contrary for the sake of it. Nimue says, I tricked myself. When I said I had a dress all cut out, I glossed over the fact that I had neither cut the lining nor interfacing. Lasai. Oh, I have to do all those things at the same time. If I don't do them at the same time, it will sit and languish. Like this skirt, I haven't done the interfacing or the lining for that skirt, and it's been sitting there since May, I think. So yeah, I feel your pain, Nimue. Monica says, has anyone tried the Como top by Starlark? I got it as a freebie and I love it so much, but no vloggers ever make it. Why? I'm not sure. Let's put it. I was talking earlier, I haven't made any Starlark patterns as yet. So Como top style arc. Let's have a look. Oh, it's nice. Hang on. That's very nice. That doesn't help, does it? Come on. There we go. There we go. Very nice. I mean, I know I said you said you got it as a free one. If I wouldn't buy that one because I have V-neck t-shirts already in my stash, and for $14, I know that's not a lot, but it's still £8. Yeah, it's still more than I would pay for a t-shirt that I have something very similar of. But no, I don't know why more people aren't making that, because it's very nice. Charlie says, we were given 2 large tins of chocolates. I'm glad I have lost my sense of taste and smell. Snowblower says, stress levels will be rising. I'm going through a house sale and purchases, so feel your pain. Yeah, we are back. Our grace period is over. We are back to being stressed, which is really frustrating. Nimue says, it's funny how differently people draw the blue-green line when it comes to teals and turquoises, isn't it? Yes, definitely. And we kind of moved on from that conversation into I was like, people do see colours differently. I do realise that. And I was just like, I wonder what way you see the things that I wear, because I know I'm loud and bright and in your face. But I wonder how loud and bright and in your face he perceives my clothes to be as how I perceive them to be. Because I think that could be quite interesting. But yeah. Whenever I make something new, he's like, oh, is it loud and flowery? Yes. Although he'd approve of today's outfit. He would approve of today's scuba dress, because it's all greys and blacks. Although it has got flowers on it. Sloth Snorker says, I was wondering why nobody is blogging and posting about Make My Lemonade. Good value for money for that many patterns. Make My Lemonade. I really like Make My Lemonade, and there is a sewing blogger called, it begins with an E. She's Australian. She hasn't vlogged for ages, and she made quite a few of them, and I really liked them, but I always struggle to find the actual patterns, because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think they also have a ready to wear section of Make Lemonade clothing or something. And they're French, aren't they? Ooh, the Frankie's nice. That one's very nice. Ooh. But again, I have a lot of things that are very similar to that. Ooh, the Hannah top. What have you started? I like that a lot, and that would fit very well into the capsule collection I'm making at the moment. Not sure how that neckline is going to be supported, because it's a wrap top, but I like it. Those sleeves, I like those sleeves. Oh, the Bella's nice. Yep, like that. I don't own any of these patterns, but I do like the designs of them. Do they have a ready-to-wear bit as well? Oh, the trousers are nice. Pajamas are nice. The Hermione dress is very pretty. It depends how low cut that is, but that might be a good alternative to the 7974. Although it looks like it might be just as low cut as that one, but very similar to that. Yeah, I do like that. The name of the Australian blogger is going to really Ellie. Yes, thank you. thank you. She made some beautiful clothing. Yeah, I do like these. I like these a lot. What have you started? What have you started? Because no, I don't own any of these, but that top particularly. Yeah, I'm going to stop looking at patterns now. Sorry, it's not the most interesting of sewing content, is it? Let's see, where did I get to? Eileen says there's an online test for colour blindness that's worth doing. We'll try and find a link. Thank you. Yeah, because I think that could be quite interesting. I know I'm not colourblind. I had to do a colourblind test to become a croupier, because you have to be able to distinguish between colours of chips easily. And so yeah, we had to do a colourblind test as part of our interview process for that. Laurel says, I find my iPhone camera can't reproduce teals and turquoises properly. I once photographed something amazing deep turquoise silk, and it kept coming out as just plain blue. Interesting. Maria says, self-assembly required to make my lemonade patterns sometimes. That's true. I've seen some of those. Claudia says that top is cute. Slots and Orchid says, sorry. Yes, they have ready to wear and most of the patterns in PDF format with a subscription for not too much money. You can see the patterns made up in the ready to wear section. I think that was the thing. I kept ending up in the Make Lemonade website and I couldn't find the patterns. I think I was just maybe being a bit dim about it, but there was a couple of times that I saw somebody had made something from them and went to go and try and find it, and then found the ready to wear section and couldn't easily find the other bit, so kind of gave up, because in all honesty I don't need any more patterns. Oh, don't know what happened there. I've been bitten by something. But yeah, what have you started? Nicola says, anyone made fibre mood patterns? Just bought a load in their sale and I'm just wondering what their instructions and construction is like. I haven't made anything by fibre mood. No, has anyone else? Judy says, oh my gosh, I love those made by Lemonade patterns. Have we crashed their website? Claudia says, I like the Bella pattern. Very nice looking modern kimono dress. Eileen says, I wasn't thinking that you were colourblind, though you could be, of course. It's much more common in males. Green and blue is one of the key challenges. Yeah, no. I think it would be interesting to see how both of us, Wilson and I, perceive the same colours, because I do wonder what I look like to him if he does see things slightly different to me. But yeah, I'll have to see what he says about that. It'd be interesting to find out, Eileen. Salt and Orchid says, I made the Dita dress twice. It was super easy. Susan says, I've made the Starlight Como cardigan, but not the top. Starlight patterns have very sparse instructions. Once you figure them out, they're great. Yeah, Big Bird was saying that earlier. She was not happy with their instructions. Sloths and Orchids says, just look for PDF subscription. It's also called the DIY section. I don't know why I struggled with their website before. I just know I remember doing it, so clearly I was just having a dim day, but I think you might have started something. So I blame you entirely. Right. Okay, so there's my skirt outer, which I really want to sew up, but I'm not going to. I'm going to do the lining first. So, skirt back. Skirt side back. This should be skirt side front. Yes. And skirt front. Okay. So I'm going to say that the outside is the right side. Just so that I don't sew any of these pieces together incorrectly, because that would suck. And I have labelled all of my outer fabric skirt pieces so that I don't get those confused when I'm sewing them together. Okay. So the outside is the right side, so when I take them off the pattern piece, I just know that I will then end up with multiple, all this sewing it together in the correct manner, if that makes sense. And I am going to be French seaming all of these seams. And of course I've gone for the longest version of this dress again because I really like that long length on me. So I now have to sew all of those seams. So there's 8 panels. I'm French seaming it, so I have to sew every seam twice, and I'm lining it, so there's actually 16 panels. Well, that's a lot of seams. Fun times. Really shouldn't pin on your lap. Don't do like me, pin on a flat surface. But my flat surface is out in the kitchen, and I don't want to leave you guys for that long, so I shan't do that. Right, where did I get to with the chat? Sal says, I'm 38 and still don't need glasses to see, long, short, or read. The only adult in my family that doesn't need them. You are very lucky, Sal. Charlie says, well done. Here comes the lining. Yeah, I wanna. It'll be fine. I think this is why some of my tried and true patterns have only got lined bodices and not lined skirts. It'll be fine. Sloths and Orchids says, yes, blame me. I'm okay with that. Just post lots of your makes from their patterns for our inspiration. Julian says, have to go get ready to start the day. Talk to you all later. Thank you for hanging out with us, Julian. Nice to see you. I do think I am going to go and have a look at the Make My Lemonade patterns and get myself some of those. That's for sure. Now this is exactly the same fabric that I used to line the previous one of these dresses that I've made, so I know it works. And I know it behaves itself as long as you kind of pay attention to it, so it'll be fine. It'll be fine. And I think what I'm going to do is the same thing that I did with the last dress, is that I will sew the first round of French seams for all of the lining pieces, and then I'll sew the first round of French seams for all of the outer pieces. Then I'll trim them all, press them at the same time, and then sew them together, just so that I don't get too bored or annoyed with this slippery lining fabric, which is actually behaving itself pretty well at the moment. Although it's 3:10, so I haven't got that much longer. Okay. One down, a million more to go. going to label my fabric pieces with the right side so that I don't fluff it up. I mean, there are notches, but these pattern pieces all look incredibly similar. So I like to just like label things and make sure that I am getting the right piece sewn to the right piece. I really don't want to have to unpick any of this stuff. I can definitely see myself making many of these dresses. Okay, so you want to sew wrong sides together. So I want the single notch at the top, because there's a double notch on the side. So wrong sides together. I want this one first. And yes, I am talking to myself so that I don't fluff this up. Now, when I was making this dress earlier this year, they want you to sew the lining to the skirt at the midriff point, or that seam. They want you to sew the lining to the skirt at that seam, and then hand finish the lining on the inside, so that the zip would be exposed on the inside of the lining, which I don't like. So I sew the skirt outer to the bodice outer and the skirt lining to the bodice lining, and then put the zip in between the two and finish it that way. And I was going to go in and tack all of the seams at the kind of this midriff waist seam here, but I found that I didn't need to do it, and if I don't need to do hand sewing, I won't. But again, it's all in the sew along. Once I've made, I think I'm going to make another one of these, which will have a slightly shorter skirt on it, which does mean that I need to retrace the patterns pieces. But I think I'm going to do it with the flutter sleeve on as well. And I think once I've done that, I'll then do a full review for this pattern, because I really do like it. I'm trying to decide which patterned fabrics I want to work with next once I've got my trousers done, because I've got so many pretty dresses I want to try. And yeah, I need to just pull my finger out and give them a go. But some of the fabrics I've got, I can't get any more of, so I'm being a little bit precious about them, which I tend to do. Even if they're inexpensive fabrics, if I can't get any more of them, I tend to get all kind of like, oh, I can't make a mistake, it needs to be perfect, and if it's not perfect, then it's going to be terrible and I shall cry. And that's what muslins are for. But I hate making muslins. I want to make wearable muslins, but none of the fabrics I featured in the pirate collection are particularly wearable muslin fodder, other than the plain ones, because I can get more of those. So yeah. Does anyone else get precious about their fabrics like that? If you can't get any more of it, it needs to be the perfect thing, otherwise you don't want to sew it up. Alison says, make my lemonade has gorgeous ready-to-wear trench coat, but no pattern. I have a trench coat on my list this year. I saw a trench coat pattern as I went through, but I haven't seen the ready-to-wear one, so I don't know if it's the same one, but there was a trench coat pattern in there. Alison says, I have a trench coat on my list this year. It is the Vogue 1650, and I've chosen fabric from Minerva. Tomcat Stitchery will be making the same coat. Very cool. Very cool. Nimue says, I should go iron stuff, but I don't want to. So I'm going to actually sew and finish all the edges of the skirt panels with bias binding. Don't want to do French seams on a needle cord. Oh no, I think that would be too thick. I think I'm going to be pushing it with this cotton, this textured cotton, to do French seams on them, but I really don't want to sew bias binding to every single skirt piece, so I'm not going to. I think I'm going to just about get away with the French seams on this fabric though. Definitely for the lining it's totally fine, but it might be a little thick for, it'll be fine, it'll be fine. Sloths and Orchids says, have you seen the Hendrick? I think it's the trench pattern. Alison says to Sloths and Orchids, yes, I have seen it and it's very nice. I got this Vogue pattern as it was on sale. Have you made the Hendrick coat? Yeah, are there any other pattern companies out there that you guys are in love with and are surprised that not more people are making? One of mine is DP Studios. I'm always a bit surprised that I don't see more of their stuff made up. I have, but then, I mean, to be fair, Teresa bought me my first pattern from them as my Christmas KB pattern swap pattern. I need to send that to the printers and get that made up because it is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Right. So when I'm doing a skirt like this where all the pieces are really similar, I always pin, I pin the two, so if I've got like a skirt front and I need to put skirt sides on, I pin them at the same time so that I don't get confused once I've sewn one seam as to which is the skirt front and which is the skirt side. You can obviously mark it, but I like to pin both of my pieces at the same time so that I'm 100% sure that I'm sewing it to the right side. Again, there are notches, so it should become apparent when you've started pinning things in if you've made a mistake. But I always find that really frustrating if I have to unpin things, especially if I've pinned it in like most of the way and then I've discovered at the very end that I've pinned the wrong thing to the wrong thing. Let's see. Oh, where did I get to? Shaz says, yes, very much. I have limited edition poppy fabric that I've had for about 15 years that I won't cut into in case. Yeah, I have some Dior silk that Mum got me that I've had probably for about 20 years now. She got it from Kuwait, and I finally decided what I'm going to make with it, as full a circle skirt as I can. But the idea of, now that I've decided what I'm going to make with it, the idea of actually cutting into it and sewing it is terrifying. Yeah. And the reason I want to do that with it is because I know it's really basic, but I know it's something that I love wearing, and I have a ready-to-wear skirt that's in the same sort of silk devore, and I love that. So it's one of those things that I know will get wear. So just need to pluck up the courage to do it, but I'm glad it's not just me. Sloths and Orchid says, Alison, I haven't made it yet, but it's something I'd like to do along with the Lausanne from Deer and Doe. That's on my to-do list as well. Wacky Wear says, some of my fabrics from Stitch are so precious to me that I just want to frame them and hang them up. Yes, I have a few like that. Laurel says, I just found some lovely ivory rayon batiste printed with sprigs of laurel leaves, and it made myself buy extra, so I'm not afraid of using it. I want to make the Richmond blouse with it. Oh, that sounds lovely. Where did you get that from? Probably don't tell me, actually. Caroline says, I have Oriental silk brocade that my grandfather bought in Shanghai while on the Royal Yacht Britannia for my nan. None of us have the courage to cut into it. Wow. Yes, I can imagine. Yeah, it's those kind of fabrics are terrifying. They're so lovely, but they're also so terrifying at the same time, aren't they? Ugh. It was fine when I was sewing 2 pieces together. Now I've got 4 pieces that I'm wanting to misbehave. getting there. When I was doing sew along for this dress, it was one of those ones where it took really a long time to make, but I was just like, and now you sew this seam together. It was really easy to make, but it was like, how am I going to edit this so it's interesting? I'm not sure I achieved it, but where did I get to? The chat. Oh no, I've read it all. I am up to date. I am up to date. Right. Okay. Next seam. Ugh. So many of these fabrics are so beautiful, but such a nightmare to work with. This is why I'm terrified of that Dior silk. It's just so slippery. It's going to be gorgeous, but ugh. And it's not one of those ones that you can spray starch because you can't wash it. So yeah, there's loads of, cutting between tissue paper and weights, and yeah, there's loads of ways of doing it. And I will eventually pluck up the courage, but at the moment. Nimoy says, I usually buy fabric with specific project in mind, so choosing isn't what I worry about, but messing up sewing is terrifying with some fabrics. Yeah. Laurel says, the manufacturer is Art Gallery Fabrics. Do they sell in the UK? They seem to do mostly quilt fabrics, but also some rayon. They do sell in the UK. I love Art Gallery Fabrics. Yes, you're right. They do kind of like the canvassing and then quilting weight fabrics, and then they also have now started putting their prints and rayons and things. They're really expensive, but very tempted by quite a lot of their prints. It's like Atelier Brunette fabric is gorgeous, but expensive. Judy orders directly from them because I think it's slightly cheaper than ordering from any of the UK stockists. And yeah, I'm very, very tempted by a number of their prints. There's another company that's similar to Atelier Brunette, but it's not the same, but they just released a whole bunch of rayons as well that are gorgeous. But some of them are like £21, £22 a metre. And as you guys know, I'm not really a blouse wearer or a top wearer, but it's mainly because I haven't found my TNT blouse pattern, because I've not really tried. So I want to rectify that this year. And if I do, then I can see myself buying myself, a couple of meters of some of those for blouses, rather than sort of the 3, 4, 5 meters I usually want for a dress. And I'm not adverse to spending that much money on beautiful fabric. As you guys know, I spent a lot of money on my Liberty Lawn for my the Carline dress, the 8577. So, and the Lady McElroy fabrics are, £15, £16 a metre. So I'm not adverse to spending that kind of money on fabric. But I do have so much already. I really ought to try and work through my stash. And that was one of the things that I was going to maybe say out as a resolution, that I was going to work through my stash, and I was going to set myself a spending limit for the year. And I would like to try and do that, I think. I don't think I'll ever be able to fully stop buying fabric, because I enjoy it. And I mean, you guys know, don't you? Like, fabric buying, pattern collecting, and sewing are all completely separate hobbies. We've established this, we know this. So yeah, I'm never going to fully stop buying fabric, and I'm never going to stop looking at fabric. I haven't bought any myself this year. Everything that I've got coming has been part of a Christmas gift. So whilst I have had so far 2 fabrics arrive and I've got 2 more coming, they were Christmas presents. So technically, personally, I have not spent money on fabric this year. I mean, I know it's only the 10th of January, so it's not like fanfares and wow, well done, but I'm pretty impressed with myself. Doesn't take a lot, as you guys know. Okay. So, skirt side back. Skirt side back. But yeah, I want to set myself a limit for fabric per month, money-wise. And it'll roll over. So if I don't spend any this month, that limit will roll over to next month, because I'm thinking £50 a month, so £600 over the year, which is a lot of money. But for me, that's probably what I spend in 3 months, if we're being honest, especially last year. I bought a lot of fabric last year, especially from Sherwood Fabrics. When they did their 30% off sales, I took advantage. So what I'm thinking is £50 a month with it rolling over for decorative fashion fabric. So if I need to buy more of this lining, for example, my budget doesn't count against this. Because I mean, this was £8 a meter, £7 a meter. So it's not cheap, but I really like it. So that's what I'm thinking about, or how I'm thinking I'm going to work my fabric buying this year. Well, that's what I'd like to stick to. Although, having said that, the minute that the first Sherwood sale comes out, I will probably cave. How about you guys? Have you set yourselves like budgets for the year? I mean, do you do that anyway? Like this last year, it's been a bit of a free for all for me, because of just what's been going on and all that sort of stuff. So yeah. And I do have so much, and I don't have guilt about the amount of fabric I have, because I love it all, and I've culled the stuff that I am not so fond of or couldn't see myself making up anymore, and a lot of you guys have taken that off my hands, which was very lovely of you. So it's not like, you know, hoarder's guilt or anything like that. It's just I want to start saving for a deposit for a house of my own, and if I want to do that, the money's going to have to come from somewhere, and something's going to have to give, and I already have so much fabric. And a £600 budget for the year, quite a decent budget. I tried this once before, and I gave myself £100 a month budget, and I blew that within the first 5 months, I think, the entire thing. But that was when we went to the knitting and stitching show, and I think I spent £400 in one weekend. But that, you know, that was intended, and that was supposed to be happening. But I didn't kind of then a budget for that for around that. So yeah, I kind of blew the £1,200 budget in 5 months, and then just carried on shopping. And I suppose I could be addicted to worse things, as we have all discussed before. So yeah. Where did I get to with the chat? Laurel says, yes, I was going to pause in my fabric buying, but I know I definitely regret not buying that Laurel fabric. Yeah. Alison says, I'm curbing my fabric buying this year too. Yeah. So I think I'm going to get these seams pinned, and I think Mum and Dad are kind of making we're moving noises outside. So I think I'm going to have to go soon, which is sad. But we are going to a very fun event, so that's good. Ouch. Just stabbed myself. Fabulous. So, yeah, I think I'm going to actually have to put this down and say goodbye to you guys. So, which is good because I'm hungry. Not good because I'm saying goodbye, but good because I'm hungry. I won't be coming back to this later because we won't be back till the event doesn't finish till like 9:30. So I won't be back later. But yeah. So where did I get to? Bethany says, I'm planning to only buy linen new. Everything else must be pre-loved from eBay, FB Marketplace, or charity shop. I want my focus to be sustainability this year. That's awesome, Bethany. Sal says, there is a horror movie called In Fabric about a dress that kills people. Don't tell me things like that. I only wear dresses. Nimue says, I want to sew from my stash as much as I can because space is becoming an issue and I want to have these things in my wardrobe. Fabric market is the worst danger for me, and who knows if that happens. Nimue says, enjoy your meal. Charlie said, just had burst pipe next door because they have heavy frost has started to thaw. Oh no. And Caroline says, I'm trying to plan from my stash this year. Me too. And as I say, I've already got 2 mini collections, 2 sets of 9 fabrics for mini collections from my stash that don't need anything else adding to them. So yeah, I agree with you guys. But I'm not going to limit myself because if a beautiful print comes out from Lady McElroy, I want to be able to buy it. Alison says, good night, Shine and Peeps. Take care of yourself. Love to Gianna and Susie. Thank you, Alison. Thank you very much. Thank you ever so much to everybody for hanging out with me today. It has been lovely to see you all again. My Sojo is definitely coming back. I'm really pleased with how this is looking. Obviously, it doesn't fit her as well as it's going to fit me. But yeah, thank you for hanging out with me. There will be another hangout next Sunday, so I will get that set up, hopefully before next Saturday, which is like I did this one. So we'll get to that. And yeah, thank you for hanging out with me. I will see you all in tomorrow's vlog. There will be a vlog tomorrow, and vlogging should return to normal from then. And I will see you then. So bye, everyone. Thank you for hanging out, and I'll see you soon.